This is The Extra Sheep, the unofficial Age of Empires 4 podcast, hosted by myself, Soccerton, along with the illustrious Awi Beal and the one and only Sir Neville's. Along with us for the ride today, again, is the wonderful Squid Boy himself, Caleb Calamari, and back for the second time, I think. We've been waiting to have him back on again. We need to ask him to come back on, but Askallad is in the Virtual Town Center with us as well. How are we doing, guys?
Excellent, excellent.
Doing great.
We got a full house today. This might be the thickest podcast
full house. I mean, I think it'll be probably about this big next time as well. We got the live podcast coming out in 2 weeks from today. Mark your calendars, December 17th. Extra Sheep will be going live. My wife and I are going to sit down and make some overlay stuff as well for that. So we got to sit down and get that ready. I think we'll do the tier list. I think we'll do a tier list of maps, current map tier list. I think we'll do that, and maybe we'll do some other tiers. I know Askallad wants to do some tier listing, so
finally, I'm going to do some tier listing, and you can interpose your own then.
Here we go.
So I got to do a Civs tier list too.
Yeah, I think we can do both. I mean, I figured the live podcast would be nice because then there'll be a video of it that we could actually kind of have it up live.
That makes sense.
Because I think it works over just like audio, but it's hard to kind of follow along. You know, you got to kind of almost pull up our
visual.
Yeah, I agree. This is better for sure.
Yeah. Man, guys, last episode was both the longest episode we've had, and I think I know Beal was of the opinion that it was our best episode to date. I think it's definitely in the top 3. It's also performing like crazy well. We've had a lot of new viewers come in. A lot of people have messaged me saying they're now new to the podcast, coming back to the game in particular. So to anyone who's new to the game, or returning to the game, I should say, newly returned, back here with us in the great annals of Age of Empires 4, welcome in. I'm thinking of like Wally was someone in our Discord who mentioned that he was going, I think, from the beginning of our show and just binging through, which I'm amazed. We were kind of joking, I think, that who would want to, like, wow, I was honored to have people listening to our first couple episodes talking about season 4 back in February, almost a year ago now.
Big takes. Are Ghulams going to be a good unit? Let's
Ghulams were a great unit choice. We love that change. We should go over that too. We should kind of we didn't really, because of the new announcements coming up, we kind of touched on it briefly, but we didn't go into depth about our like kind of recap of how we felt the season before went and what we think of some of those, because those are some big changes with like the Keshiks being introduced, with the Ghulams. There were a lot of big changes in season 5.
Yeah, I mean, it was like just another great improvement on the road for this becoming a great game. I was a fan of most of the season 5 changes, and I think it put the game in a better spot.
Yeah, definitely set itself up for this big expansion, I think. Wow, we have a lot. It's like I don't even, kind of like last time, it's hard to know where to begin. I have, like, in our outline, a couple of different thoughts I kind of put in little bullet points. Let's talk about some news first, though. EGC TV Finals is going on today. I saw an excellent series between Wham and Beastie, and Wham put on kind of a clinic. It was really impressive stuff. I think Beastie took the first game, and then Wham came back and just, it might have been the reverse sweep. I think he went like 3 or 4 straight to reverse sweep it out. It was impressive set of games. Really fun to watch. Sir Devils, you watched like a ton of that, didn't you?
Oh yeah, man. I was I've been going pretty deep in the EGC finals.
Anything that stood out?
Well, first of all, this one thing I got to say: if you are not watching the pro scene of Age of Empires, I'm telling you, it's you're doing yourself a disservice playing this game. This is pretty much the people that built the meta of the game, pretty much people that sculpt how we actually play. And it's honestly, like, believe it or not, like I posed this question to some buddies at work saying, like, are pro players, can they consider athletes? Now, that's a whole nother topic. That is a very big controversial topic in this, like, the gaming sphere as a whole. But these players have been going insane. Now, the games that have been standing out the most to me, real quick, the EGC finals, it's the last EGC tournament of the entire year. I don't think it has any type of unique, unique gameplay to it. Like, it's not, I think it's just straight up tournaments, best player wins, but it is right now we're in the round robin stage. There are 4 pools. Each pool has 3 players. all three players play each other, and that's how they qualify for the playoffs. So I believe right now, I'll just go down the actual ranking. Right now, of course, number one is Marine Lord. Marine Lord is he lost 2 games total, but he is, I think, number one. He's won both his sets. And his set is Marine Lord, Louis Unity, and the Mista. And then there's 3 other pools. The players that are in there: Lucifron, Puppy Paw, and Recon in pool 2. BC Cutie Wham and 3D Anotan in pool 3. And then 3DB, Vortex, and the Muslim in pool 4. And really, if you watch, there's really not even a series. I could just break it down just to one. But these, like for example, the series that I enjoyed watching the most was actually the last series of today, which was Lucifron versus Puppy Paw. Which Puppy Paw, well, I don't want to spoil anything. I'm not going to give the results away, but it was a very good series, pretty much. And BCQ with Wham, also a good series, like you said earlier. I believe it was a reverse sweep. And actually, 3DB, not today, but yesterday, 3DB versus the Muslim was actually really good. Surprising finale of that. Marine Lord, of course, always suppresses. But basically what I'm saying about this is, honestly, I really believe that if more people tuned in to these EGC tournaments, these S-tier tournaments, I believe that it would actually gain more interest. A lot of people, when they tune in, when say Beastie and Marine Lord are playing, or really when Beastie's really playing, a lot of the viewer count goes up. But really, all these games, you'll see some the most craziest strats being introduced. And also, I realized one thing I will say to close it out. Really, the old civilizations have been pulling through more than the new. The new civilizations are still doing well, but it really shows that these new civilizations aren't 100% really figured out yet, because the old civilizations really are still. I think they still have a higher win rate in these tournaments, and even some civilizations that people are considered OP at the moment. Guess we'll touch on that later. Like Jushi's Legacy, Ubits, and Joan of Arc have been beaten in these series. So really, all in all, it's in the middle of the round robin. I think playoffs start next week. I think it's a 3-week tournament. But yeah, it's really good, really good.
I'm going to just say they absolutely are athletes. Anybody with a dissenting opinion can do something not nice.
Well, I might be that dissenter. I don't. But I'll caveat. I feel like I couldn't. I don't want to just say they're just not athletes, because that doesn't feel right. I feel like I compare them to an athlete who trains their body. That does feel different. Mm-hmm. I feel like e-athlete would be the way. I almost need a new term for it. E-fleet.
Yeah.
An e-fleet.
I remember back the early days of Counter-Strike. The first pro scene was CAL, the Cyber Athlete Amateur League, and then the Cyber Athlete Professional League. They try to make that term the thing, way back in the early 2000s. But I think that's a cyber athlete.
It's a bit. It
does sound really dated, Y2K term.
We're gonna go surf the web.
I feel like that's a topic we could possibly
I guess technically, athlete it does explicitly reference physical in its definition.
That's my thought, and I get that there's some micro on the keyboard, but let's be honest, I don't really consider chess players athletes either. But
they aren't athletes; they are sports professionals.
Now they sound like professional wrestlers.
Sports. I don't feel like it's the right term. I feel like, because I definitely regard them in the same level of skill. There is an equal amount of skill and practice that's put into both. So
there's a much higher knowledge component. There's a lot more practice.
I disagree because in the American football, for instance, the guy who gets the snap, the QB, the quarterback, they are intelligent people, contrary to popular belief. They go into design and play scheme, and it is incredible how much knowledge it takes to do that position well in sports. And in many sports, it's that way. There's a lot more technicality to those things, and it's an equal amount. But they also, it's that physical component that I kind of feel like we just need a different term that's not cumbersome, like cyber athlete. E-fleet's horrible. E-athlete doesn't sound great. There's got to be something. They're different, but they're similar in many ways.
Send in your suggestions, guys.
Just call them athletes. like I'm at the point now where like, dude, we're in 2023, and I feel like we kind of got that. We kind of got
get out of here,
like,
boomers.
We kind of got that. We have a tendency of gatekeeping things, and like if you look up the definition of athlete, it's like 20 definitions now. Like I'm seeing one definition that says one fitted for or skilled in intellectual contest, and that's like, and I see underneath it says athletes of debate. So now like, almost like they're saying debate athletes. So like I feel like we traditionally just think of an athlete, and I hate that I brought this up. Now we got a whole other side topic going on, but like it's something that we got to like trying to like evolve our concept of thinking of when it comes on an athlete. We always think of an athlete as somebody who's like rolling around and saying bench pressing like 6 plates and squat in the house. But really, like when you look at it, like when I look at a pro player and I look at myself, we're almost not even the same species. Like, I'm like, what is like, how can they even think on this level? Like, when I see the way these players play and the amount of mental gymnastics they have to play to do these things, like, I mean, you look at any type of pro player in any type of scene, like, look at this, like a Counter-Strike 2 player. I watched back when Counter-Strike came out, like, I watched a little bit. I'll dabble in Counter-Strike and watch a pro, see how they do. And I'm just like, these guys are insane. And I do think they're on that role, but that's all we mentioned that before. But like it's
steroids of cyber athletes.
That's the crazy part. That really is steroids of cyber athletes, And I feel like you call an athlete a cyber athlete, I feel like you might hurt their feelings. They're like,
I just have a hard time like comparing like a soccer or a football player or even a tennis player like with like a cyber, like they're both super skilled, but it just, there is something different between, because I look at like a physical like sport, it's mental and physical, like to a high degree, and not that there's no physical component to like playing like a video game, but it's a lot more mental than anything else.
But like you also can get physically hurt from playing these games.
Okay, carpal tunnel feels kind of silly, like broken bones and stuff.
StarCraft players, like it's suffered from wrist injuries.
I remember a Madden commercial. I remember a Madden commercial a couple years back where like the guy had like, like those ice baths athletes will take. This guy was like, I gotta ice my thumb. It was like icing his thumb in like a little mini one. He's like, yeah, you pull a tendon and the whole season's over. And it was like making fun. It was like for Madden. It was really funny. That's what that reminds me of.
Listen, I'm of the same debate. If we can look at golf as an athlete.
All right, I was gonna throw out golf.
Yeah, like you look at golf as an athlete.
Are those athletes?
Then yeah, BCQ's an athlete. Like if you are like a 65-year-old like Arnold Palmer's playing golf and he's like doing this, I mean obviously Arnold Palmer's not playing anymore, but like I'm saying if you can be like 65 and going crazy, then like you can yeah, like I don't know, that's a whole other topic.
This is such an interesting debate because I don't really like I don't disagree that there is like an athleticism to this. I'm finding a hard time like splitting the hairs because I feel like there is a difference. I don't know. I will say one thing I want to say that I'm thinking about. This is a little bit off topic from this, but I do say that I hate the uniforms that professional like video game players have when they have little teams. The uniforms look so terrible. Like of all the things, why are we wearing these weird like almost like
jerseys? Like
weird jerseys, like almost like soccer jerseys. Why are we wearing these ugly looking things?
99% adverts.
Yeah, like why aren't we just wearing like I mean, we look at bowling athletes, man, bowling shirts, dude. Like that's so different. Why don't we come up with like silly sweaters or something way different that like is like video? Like we can do anything. Why do we pick the weird like?
It's genius because if you're wearing a sweater, then you'll sweat. See?
Oh yeah, they're breaking. They're breaking sweats. They got Gatorade to be hydrated.
Where's my bell at?
Okay.
Hang on, let me find it.
Okay, if we're going on real weird tangents here, can I also throw one in? I feel like we're kind of arguing semantics just a little bit, and I feel
that's
like
exactly what we're doing.
We're back in the year 2000, and I think it was 2001. Where Grubby was on national TV in Holland, in the Netherlands, and he got asked what he does all day long, and there were all these people with their big careers and no prior experience with gaming whatsoever, and Grubby sits there and says, "Yeah, well, I play games 12 hours a day." And they're all like, yeah, and what do you do for a living?
Exactly, man. We got to evolve that mindset now, man, because now some gamers, man, they're buying mansions and hills, dude. Like, things are different now. You know what I'm saying?
I listen to, I've been listening to a lot of content specifically around coaching and esports, collegiate esports, for this potential job that I'm looking at that I'm still waiting back on to hear. And this was explicitly talked about by his name's Jensen Go, and he I think he just retired from coaching, but he was literally like around the entire world. He was in South America, he was in Korea, he was in Europe, he came to North America, and he said the one thing North America doesn't have, and that's partially because of a stigma that other countries have been able to shed, and partially because there just isn't kind of the same social structure, is other countries have ways to get esports things kind of in the mainstream and kind of like ways to direct kids from high school into college into professional esports, or just into esports in general. They have like Europe has like esports housing, things like that, where they have like clubs you can join and work your way into from high school or whatever, or from your couch or wherever. America doesn't really have that, but they do have a really good avenue for that, which is through collegiate. And so he came here to help work with a lot of colleges on trying to kind of drive that forward, kind of like the standard sports do, because we have that system in place and most other places have something. And I think the reason the people like Socraton have an issue with it is technically the definition, depending on which one you're reading, has the word physical in it, which does make, it's a semantic issue. But there's just societally, we haven't quite made it there yet. And I think that really is one of the biggest hindrances to why people go, because if you went, well, I play football 12 hours a day, people would be like, oh, wow, you're really dedicated to that sport. You know what I mean? And like, and I get there's a difference, and there is, but it's, there's a stigma or a preconception walking into that conversation that kind of makes these issues crop up.
Yeah. I mean, there's also, you play football 12 hours a day. You're going to get a workout. You're going to get stronger. Like
that's
true.
You're
You're doing that. You play football 4 hours a day. You
can practice AoE 12 hours a day and get really good at it and be a strong competitor and go to tournaments. Or you can just play video games 12 hours a day and
that's true.
Just piss away time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most guys who are just hanging out for it's like those like rec league hockey guys up north who just play hockey like with their buddies, but they're all like crazy fit because they play hockey for fun. Like it's gonna make it big and beefy.
That was my buddy's dad for sure. But I mean, basically, I didn't mean try to derive the podcast to it, but I just really think that that's something that I feel you can have a whole episode based on.
Oh yeah, I think it's a great discussion topic.
It's a great because really when I watch these when I watch EDC tournaments and I watch these players, it really is something when you actually watch it in depth and realize that you're watching in God mode and they can't see everything you're seeing. You realize how much skill it actually takes for these players to come up with these build orders and everything, and how much and get these timings on right on point. It really does put me in a lane. I'm like, dude, these guys are we need an actual you almost got to create a new definition if you don't want to go with cyber athlete or e-athlete. But we kind of put that, we already put that stamp on it from the jump by calling it an e-sport, not calling it a sport.
Well, so I think because there is a valid difference between them. Doesn't mean that one needs to be less. I think that's the one thing that's the problem is there is a stigma about it, and there shouldn't be. I think both are valid. I think esports is. I think it's worth putting the asterisk that it's an esport because it is fundamentally different in what you're doing. It's a different way of playing, but I think that definitely. There's no reason for it to be considered lesser than a normal sport or any other sport. It can be it's just as competitive. The competitive element is the exact same.
Insane competitive element.
What do they call pro poker players?
I think just pro. They call
poke pros.
Poke pros. That sounds funny.
Because I feel like that's
poke pros.
Kind of similar to this.
Well, and that's what we're missing, right? We're missing the production. I think
sedentary activity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great analogy, actually. And you know what? Yeah, we're missing that. What it's missing right now is that everything is granted. Now, I will say the structure of how we consume content is changing, and then esports I think are on the rise because of Twitch, because of streaming services. But one difference is that the production quality, EGC TV comes the closest to that real professional quality. But most esports lack that kind of that production value and quality. I think we saw kind of Red Bull to Wolo was kind of that taste of what it could look like.
Have
Because you look at
have
like
you ever watched professional League of Legends at all?
I haven't. I guess I haven't. But I'm saying I'm also saying like the distribution though. The distribution of that, you're not going to see it on TV. You're not going to see it on like.
Yeah, I think that would actually
mainstream
go
stuff.
a long ways. Yeah, I think, and not that the question is, would advertisers, profit off of that and blah, blah, blah. But
that's the kicker.
Yeah.
Right. Overwatch League tried to do something. I mean, they went at it so much from the let's structure this like a normal American sports league, and they tried to like squish that square peg into a round hole, and it didn't work. But they tried. I think the problem with AOE right now is that it's just so niche. I mean, you got League of Legends,
of course,
big production
100%.
values, Counter-Strike, big production values. You got Valorant, all that stuff. That's like your basketball, football, baseball.
We're playing
You got
curling.
Age of
down
We're
here.
Empires.
playing, like,
This is curling. Yeah.
Yes.
Chris, like cricket.
But I gotta say, every
Curling,
time
yeah.
it comes on the Olympics, I watch the curling with their sports. It looks like a blast. If I could like
we
get
need
my
a
Olympic
gaming
rings,
Olympics.
gaming Olympics.
Right.
That's
That'd be
not a
crazy.
bad idea. Actually, Caleb, that's really not a bad idea because then it could be like, oh, that'd
Introduce
be so cool.
curling to the world. It's going to be great.
Like that's exactly right. Like, and that I like that. You could have it on the off years because you can have it on the
I've
odd
always
number
thought
years.
like speed running is like the track and field of video games.
Yeah, that's right. Most definitely.
Love that. That's so good.
But at the end of the day, I feel like, the most important thing at all is just green. I mean, is there enough revenue stream to get these in the main, like get the production? I think that's our biggest, I think it's the biggest issue why it's never really went full mainstream is because, I feel like, if you just see announced $1 million tournament, I guarantee you it would be the biggest viewership they ever had just because the stakes are higher. And if they made $1 million LAN tournament, then it would be like insane. It would be the biggest viewership. I don't know how much it would be, but how much viewership it would be. But just would it be a good return on investment? Who's going to sponsor it? Like who's going to? I think it's a little harder said than done, especially too. People don't really know what they're looking at when they're watching, unless they follow Age of Empires. It's a game that you almost have to follow to
It's
know
niche.
what you're watching.
It's niche. It is the
It's
That's
curling.
kind of why
of-
Overwatch failed because there's so much going on. If you don't know the game,
I
it
can't watch
looks
Overwatch.
like gibberish.
I can't watch League of Legends.
Even League of Legends is pretty crazy, but at least it's like, okay, these 5 guys killed those 5 guys. It looks like they're winning. Sort of thing. You
It's
can-
slower and the
It looks
interface
like
actually
they're
tells
winning.
you a little bit of what's going on.
I do feel like
Yeah.
overall casting wise, watching like a cast, especially like ETC TV, I think Rising Empires usually does a pretty good job with this too. Like you can get a nice sense of what's going on. I mean, I really thoroughly enjoy watching those kind of things. Like it's almost as fun as watching
Me too.
football for me. Like really, like a good game that has a lot of back and forth. That has, I mean, the tricky thing is like it's kind of almost like watching a mix between like a boxing match and trying to think of what else I can compare this to. Because it's not quite like one thing I think that suffers this. It's not really a team sport. Like it is, but it's not. It's like when you watch a team sport, you're watching 2 teams go at it. They've got highlighted players, different things. In a game like this, like casting wise, you can talk about the players. I saw ETCTV had a bunch of they ranked the players they had like Puppy Paw versus like Lucifron. They had like the skill meters, and I was kind of looking at it going, how on earth did they judge that? How do you judge that so-and-so is? Do they just kind of all rank each other? Like, I mean, how do you judge that? Because like in football, you can kind of, they use like, and in baseball, they have like legitimate stats they can show and point to and say, this is what this player is really good at. Like this player has a lot of power, hits a lot of like home runs, but doesn't do a lot of small ball. This pitcher can pitch these pitches at these speeds. So I feel like, I wonder how I saw that and I was wondering, how did they come up with the stats of, like so-and-so's macro is really good. I guess you can maybe find that out, but how do you find that their speed is really good or that their creativity, like how do you measure those things? Like I left me kind of wondering.
Well, sorry, they did so basically they had it to where every player, I guess maybe to rank like top 20, they added those attributes to the other players. Like they had other players rank other players.
That seems very arbitrary.
And
doesn't it?
Yeah, I agree. Like, I mean, I think it's a rough estimate because like during the Red Bull Wololo, they also had those attributes, but they based it off AoE4 World, and everyone was like making fun of it, like, "Oh, Beast Cutie had 6 speed. Oh, he sucks." Like, it was,
I remember that. That was so funny.
So like
on that,
so really,
on the speed, I've got something great to talk about on that when we get back to the actual game at hand. But go ahead, keep going.
The last thing I will say about this one thing I do think that makes, like, for example, I think comparing AOE4 pros and like the pro scene to boxing is a good comparison. But the one thing I will say about, I think that this, like, RTS and pretty much esports as a whole is just it's got to just evolve. Like, it's still kind of newer. Still people are kind of looking at like, what is this? And one thing I will say about it's almost like I compare it kind of like Age of Empires or esports in general, especially 1v1 to like UFC. UFC is kind of just now making its namesake so that it's getting bigger in like, natural combat sports where really boxing ran the show forever. But the one thing I'll say that esports, like for example, RTS and even any esports has over these other sports is that, like, for example, EGC at the end of the tournament, it's always the best facing the best every time. Whereas, like, that's one of the biggest criticisms of boxing is that there's so many different businesses and so many different promoters that the best box. They want to keep their boxers who they're promoting undefeated and keep their value that the best never fights the best. It's like kind of just now happening a little bit. But for the longest time in boxing, the best does not fight the best because they want to preserve their brand. Like, it took literally Mayweather and, I know now we're really going off topic here, but Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao to fight when they're 80 years old. And like everyone was like, why don't they fight in their prime? Because they want to protect their brands. And like, that's just like, so that right there is where I think esports has a little bit, because I love sports, normal sports. Okay, that sounded bad, but just sports, not esports. But I love it. But I'm saying something that's been the criticism is that like, there's so much money being in rotation that, you never see the best of the best. And with EGC, kind of like how the UFC has, how it's under one brand, how it's under one promoter, you always have it then at the end of the tournament, Beastie fighting Marine Lord, or Marine Lord fighting Lucifon, or B fighting Beastie, always the best fighting the best, rather than if there was different promoters, they're like Beastie and Marine Lord would never fight each other because they both want their careers to be undefeated in tournaments.
They're also not actually trading punches and
exactly.
Injure themselves either.
True. That is true. Yeah, it's obviously like a difference, but like I feel like that is where people might find like attraction in esports, and start actually like maybe giving it its proper due, like actually looking at it as a sport.
Yeah, I mean, it is a generational thing.
Most definitely,
it has evolved so much. I mean, I would say like it is pretty huge. I know like League of Legends World was watched by more people than a lot of the I think by more people than the Super Bowl last year.
That's insane.
Or something like that. I mean, because you got to take into consideration only Americans are watching the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay. League of Legends.
Yeah,
this is worldwide. I was thinking
that's no longer
our world.
But we're world champions, even though it's only in America. We're world champions. I'm just scared.
So we haven't even covered Balloon's tower defense yet.
Competitive.
But yeah, that's a good topic. But yeah, we can.
Yeah, we've got so much.
We'll get to the actual topic.
I would have had one more tangent here, just because we talked about it. So how to make your game more approachable? How to make it more popular for the masses? How to attract more players? We actually talked about it in the last Rising Empires admin meet. So. Wait, where was it going with this? Oh my God, it was so much, and now I lost track.
Oh no!
It happens to the best of us. I'm telling you,
it happens to the rest of us, but it should not happen to me in this case. What were we on about?
Oh, we're talking about how making the game more accessible to the masses.
Thanks. I literally just said. Oh God. This is trying to help you out, buddy. I'm just blanking out right now.
Sorry.
Well, when you think about it later,
at the end,
think about it. I had it all prepared in my head, and then I looked at something else because someone mentioned the League of Legends, and I looked at prize pools of tournaments, and now I'm back here.
Alrighty, so back to AoE4. I've got like a litany of things to talk about here. We probably won't get to all of it, but I just want to start going through. First of all, I went on a couple tirades about So right now, the biggest reactions I'm seeing all over the place are that everyone hates a list of 3 to 4 civs, depending on what you play. The top guys playing really are we're on one. Many of the big streamers and big players have been saying some really crazy things about broken civs or quote unquote cheating civs, which I just take great exception to. Basically, they're saying that
stream of yours.
Oh, I went I don't usually call out names. I'm not going to on the podcast. but there are a couple of big streamers that I follow and very much enjoy 9 times out of 10 that kind of went off on this. And it's really made me not enjoy the streams as much. And I've actually stopped watching them a little bit less. I kind of just toned back because I don't want to hear them complain and whine about facing Joan of Arc, Ayubids, or Jushis or Japanese again. Like I just don't want to hear it. Like they're new civs. There's 4 of them. They're all really good. I'm sorry that Byzantines isn't like superpower. They're all like I don't know. There's a lot of discussion that went around it. I remember when Malians was the big thing, and everyone, myself included, really hated on Malians because there was just no way to counter what they did. And that was frustrating because it was one civ, but it wasn't that bad because they were hard to play. Most people in the lower levels didn't touch them. But in this case, I feel like everyone is playing these civs right now. There's 4 of them in particular that are strong. So I just kind of feel like, what's the big, like, I get that there's a big deal. I get that they're going to have to nerf and balance things. But for the most part, like saying that it's cheating or I'm not going to GG them because they're playing Ayubids or whatever, when there's other factors that made you lose a game, I just feel like that kind of narrative isn't good for the game. And I've been kind of frustrated with some of the pros about their dialogue because they're the ones, they had a week early to figure these civs out and come up with these strats and started using them. And then once everyone else starts using them too, like the whole idea of like, oh, so-and-so's inflating their elo with by playing Ayubids. It's like, that's kind of bullcrap in my mind. Like, I'm sorry, but like if you're already Conqueror 1 and you start playing a really strong strat and that gets you into Conqueror 2, breaking into Conqueror 3, I don't think that's a huge jump. And I don't think it's unfeasible, right? Like sometimes you just find something that gels with you and you get going. Like it's not like gold players are popping up into Kong 3 and beating Beastie. Just saying. And if they are, like, good on them. Clearly Beastie could be doing the same thing then, right? Like obviously, like if it's that good, just pick it up and play it yourself. Like I don't, there's so many civs that are that powerful. Like, I don't know. What do you guys think? Any other comments? I feel like I've already gone on a couple rants about this, but
I have thoughts, but I'm going to let other people go first. That way I don't take up the entirety of this 2-hour period.
Well, okay. If I had something to say about it, I mean, honestly and truly, it's just like, I mean, I feel like this happens in every game. I mean, like, you know, if something's winning and it's very powerful, people are going to talk crazy and people are going to act like, oh, you're not good. I mean, really, honestly and truly, though, at the end of the day, people got to look themselves in the mirror and just be like, that player's just kind of better than me. Like, and it's just like, it sucks to admit, but I mean, you really like EGC, like just watching terms are proving it right now. I mean, little Joan of Arc got beat, Ayubids got beat using a gamble wing strategy. Like, really, at the end of the day, like you said, Sock, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, it's not like I'm going to use the gamble wing build and I'm about to like wash Beastie and come Conquer 3. Like, at the end of the day, like, yeah, I mean, they are new civs. There's going to be a little bit of a balance issue, like kind of expected. And people are going to complain. Like, you know, like, I mean, people are going to complain. It's just like any other game, power weapons, or, you know, just there's always going to be a kind of a broken strat. You know, like, because I remember with the Malians, you know, like, pro players are going to talk the most about it because pro players are really the ones that kind of really qualify it as an OP strategy, whatever you're doing. But, you know, like when the Malians, you know, I remember before even the scout rush that was very OP, it was at first the Farimba Garrison wing. You know, a lot of people were getting their elos. I remember watching, what's his name? Fitzbro. I remember watching him. He went from like Diamond 2, Diamond 1 to like literally Conquer 2, Conquer 3 from using the Farimba Garrison wing. He just rushed the Malian men-at-arms.
I think if I could interrupt real quick, I think that's part of my frustration with this is that these guys are the ones who come up with these strats, play different strats, and then they start going, oh, I don't play broken civs. And it's like, well, that's such bullcrap because you guys are still playing Roost, which is arguably still the best civ in the game. Like, I just feel like it's just really funny to see that.
I think it's just a divide between broken civ and good civ. Like, I mean, I don't think Roost is broken. I think Roost is really good. And like, you know, for example, like Jushi's Legacy, I think people are kind of like I don't think like necessarily like, oh, and Joan of Arc, like, you know, I don't think they're like people just kind of like quantify them as broken because they are very good. I mean, like, for example, Joan of Arc, you know, if she fights you in Feudal Age, she could pretty much go castle and have castellated units with a mass like on top of like, you know, putting on feudal pressure. It's just probably just tweaks and balances, and people are going to, of course, make like, you know, if you're winning with that as a scapegoat for them losing, they're going to just be like, "Oh, you're playing a broken Civ."
Yeah. Well, that's not to say too. I don't mean to say. I know Beal's going to pop in here in just a second, but that's not to say I don't think that there should be adjustments. I do think, like Joan of Arc, there needs to be an incentive to want to fight against her. Otherwise, right now, it's like, why would anyone want to fight her? Because you're just feeding the beast. So there are like certain things I understand need to be tweaked, and I understand like the Gamble Wing, like which is what I've been playing with, might need some tweaks. But at the same time, I don't feel like it's just abjectly going to just win you the game by playing it. That's not how that works.
I don't think anything in the game does that.
I want to jump on that specific point because we need to differentiate between broken and actually just strong, because I think the Gamba Wing is exactly that difference, because there is, and that is the really broken thing about it. There's the RNG factor in that, so you cannot really know what's coming, and the only way you can counter that wing is you deny the gold before they get to that stage, and that is massively, like, depending on what Civ you're playing, of course, that is massively hindering your own progress by that need, because if they get lucky and they have enough gold to buy those 8 units as they hit feudal age, you're dead. No matter what Civ you are, you are dead.
It's so, I will say, having played it a lot, I've had it happen where I got really lucky like once. Because most times the RNG doesn't, I don't feel like you get all 8 of those units all the time. It's very rare that it happens.
It should still just not be possible. It should not be in the game like that.
Well, they just make it so you just can't get that many tickets. It's an easy fix in that, like, I don't feel like it's super overpowered either. It can be. The problem is it can be, and it's just a matter of if you get if the stars align, you can easily win, or you're just it's just a decent landmark. I feel like if they just changed it so it couldn't have like multiples of the same one, I think it'd be fine, or no more than 2 of the same kind, then you'd be fine.
So I think one of the big things about the Bazaar Wing is, like, if all goes to plan, if you win that dice roll and you get like great traders, you can do all 3 things in feudal. Like, one of the core designs of the game is, like, do you go for tech advantage, eco advantage, or military advantage?
Yeah, and the Gamma Wing does everything at once.
You can hit like sub 10 castle age with 2 TCs and also putting out feudal pressure at the same time.
I've never been able to do the 2 TC with that. I've always had to pick. I've never been able to get the TC with the stone. Maybe I just don't do the stone because
maybe not 2 TCs, but I'm talking about the Vill advantage.
Oh, the villagers, getting a couple extra villagers is nice.
Eco advantage through quote unquote free vills.
But you still got to spend a lot. I kind of feudal pressure. Like, I understand it needs to be it needs a nerf. It does. But I feel like there's a little bit of blown out of proportion with it. Having played it a lot and had it countered easily a lot, I do feel like it's not the end of the world broken. I think it needs some tweaks to fix it a little bit, but I don't feel like it's like, because again, you're spending a lot. It's 125 gold per trade. So you have to have a ton on gold to do that. The reason this is such a powerful landmark is because you also have the ability to do the cheaper age up. If you didn't have that, no one would do it, because you just would get left in the dust every time. But even then, you still need a ton of gold, a ton of gold to do what you need. I don't know. It just needs some tweaking. I don't think it's the end all be all.
Like maps where, like, Prairie, or I think forts, where that initial gold is like right in TC range and super easy to defend.
I suppose, but if you trap me without food, if you starve them of food, Beal, they're hosed. Because that's the thing. Everyone goes for the gold, but if you trap them in where they can't get food, I've had a couple games where my food was just all in the front, and against a aggressive like Joan of Arc Civ, or even like Zushi, where they just kind of go all in. Once you run out of food, you're just dead. You don't get enough trades to keep up in farm transition. You just don't have enough. There are a couple ways to stop it that I've kind of noticed. But again, I feel too that like Joan of Arc is supercharged. And I'm sure you've come across a number of ways where it just feels like it probably feels like your eco lags behind a lot. Whereas I'm feeling like Joan of Arc just can do everything.
I think all can talk about Joan of Arc after the Bazaar Wing.
The Bazaar Wing is good. It is
but
good.
I think because you also have defense against like that early feudal pressure as well. You can just buy military. You get a military spike. You can get villager spike on the graph. And then, the cheaper castle age.
It's an eco wing. It's a military wing. And like, no matter what you get, you're not really, yes, you're unlucky if you don't get the units, but you're unlucky in the sense that now you have to get your economic advantage instead.
Yeah, well, it's tricky though too, because when you're going up in age, the typical thing you do is have 8 on gold. you're investing that gold on the, like you have to go on that to have enough gold to be able to get those trades. So if you don't get the trades, suddenly you've got gold you can't spend. And so then you're forced to kind of naked fast castle, but against, so there is a give and take on that too.
There's still eco upgrades. There's still an Abbasid offshot that has Golden Age.
But I will say, if you need those units to defend, eco upgrades aren't going to help you. Like they're nice, but when you need units and if you got gold that you can't use, it's like, well, I just kind of shot myself in the foot. So not to say, and I don't mean to say it's not broken. Again, I'm just kind of being the devil's advocate here with this, but it just needs some tweaking, I think.
I think you just take away the gambling from it. You don't have games decide.
Yeah, make it less RNG.
Dice roll.
So how would you say? Just you get one of every trade, or you just get one of each trade?
Oh, well, no. I think they designed something where it's specific things you can trade for, and then the tickets like refresh every 3 minutes or whatever it's like. But it's specific, like tuned. Like maybe you get these units. You're offered the same thing every time.
Yeah, and also like actually make it recharge slowly and not get 4 tickets at once as you age up, because that power spike is like insane.
Yeah, it is a lot.
Like, you age up at 4 minutes and 15 seconds, and you just got the villager roll. Well, okay, now I'm 6 villagers ahead of you. Good luck.
Yeah, see, I'm actually trying to figure out, like, I'm reading right now I've never used Bazaar Wing build. I don't even know exactly what it does.
It's good. I feel like when I play it, I never, maybe I just don't have enough gold to buy all the tickets at once. But I've dedefinitely had it where like I get 3 stone and it's like I don't want to do multiple TC. It's not enough stone to give me the TC.
Would you consider it OP if it was a yes or no question?
It depends on the roll. If I get the right roll, yes. If I get the right roll, yes. If not, not at all. Genuinely, if I get the right rolls for what I want to do, completely, this thing is very, very powerful. I don't think anyone could stop it. If I've got the, also depends. It depends on the matchup too, the Civ matchup. It depends on the Civ matchup. If I have a favorable Civ matchup and I get the right rolls, it is OP. If I don't have those things line up, it is not.
Do you think that a player?
What are bad rolls for you?
Bad rolls for me. If I'm going to Joan of Arc and I get stoned 3 times, which I've had happen a lot. Like 3 things of stone, and I've got 1 thing of 2 villagers. I'm feeling pretty bad.
You aged up at 4 minutes 15 seconds. Jenny is not up yet. She's currently building her landmark. There is no knight on the map.
Yes, the problem is
you can go for that second TC before she's ever near you.
No, because I don't have the wood for it. Because you're putting everything on food and gold trying to go for the age up, and you have just enough wood to.
It feels really anyway bad. as you age. You still
don't have enough stone. Even with the 3 tickets, you still don't have enough stone. You have to go get more stone as well.
Stone. That's 1 long distance mine with 5.
By the time you get it up though, because the TCs have been nerfed as well. I just feel like if she's all inning you, you're just. I don't know. I'd be very, very depending on what map you're on. I would, if I was on a closed off map more, sure. But if I'm on like a Himanyama or I'm on a like Dry Arabia, I'd be sweating bullets. Genuinely. Now, at the pro level, that might be very different. At the pro level, that might be different. But for me, as a middle plat player, I'm struggling with that big time. Honestly,
is that just like a bad road just against Joan of Arc?
Against a couple other civs, any civ that wants to go like really heavy all in. Joan of Arc is one that's really powerful because she's really, really good. Jushi going all in is really difficult to stop. I've had Ottomans go in all in on me. That's really difficult if I'm trying to get the castle age and they just are all in. Roos can be a thorn in your side as well. Aggressive civs really make it difficult for like hyper aggressive civs make it very difficult for Ayubids because they can get on that gold, and it depends a lot on the spawn too. You are left. The problem with the gambling is that it is a lot of RNG. Your spawn matters, the map matters, a lot of it matters, and maybe that. And it is the best option either way. Like I can't think of another option that would be better than the gamble wing, which is the other problem. That's the real problem, is that the other options aren't as good at all. That's the real issue.
Wing is strong, and I mean Growth Wing is always pretty strong because you get free villagers, but the Gamba Wing does that too.
Yeah, I think if I had to, I would think this is probably like something that probably does need to be tweaked.
It needs to be tweaked. It needs to be tweaked, and I will say it. I don't disagree with that. I feel like some people like maybe at the pro level it is like absolutely cracked. For myself, I just feel like it can't be really good when the stars align, and then a lot of times it doesn't quite line up perfectly. And so, I'm not the best player, so I'm not taking the most advantage I probably could be from it. But It's nice in that it can be very versatile, but if I'm already set in what I want to try and do with it and I don't get quite as lucky, it can be difficult. And it's not like I have the craziest of leads against a really good player. I don't know. I think some of the dialogue's a little overstated on it, but I won't disagree that it's very, very overtuned.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, of course, like you can quantify some of being over exaggerated. I mean, because if you're absolutely garbo at the game, it's not like the Bizarre Wing's gonna make you like amazing.
Yeah.
But like if you're even decently competent, like you even compensate what you're doing, you can kind of like adjust around what you're doing. I think the Bizarre Wing, I think will be most likely looked at as.
I think the other problem is that when you're playing a Ubids, 9 times out of 10 you're going against other excellent civs like Joan of Arc or Jushi or Byzantines. I think can struggle against this a little bit more, but Byzantines has been struggling anyways. But when you're going against a 5-minute castle against like Jushi, that's like good gravy. Like, what do I even do?
I mean, Jushi still has another strong civ.
Jushi is a very, very strong. There's a couple of other.
Well, that's
why I've been so frustrated with the pro players. Is I feel like there's so many other civs that are equally cracked as the Ubids that it's kind of funny that like they get so frustrated going against the Ubids, but like at the same time they're also getting equally frustrated against Joan of Arc, against Jushi, against maybe less so Japan, unless it goes into Imperial Age. But in that case, don't go to Imperial Age with Japan.
What do you think the easiest civ to play is? The easiest strat to execute out of all of them? That may be why the frustrations come from pro players.
Joan of Arc does not seem that difficult.
Dude, I know I'm bad.
Not when you watch him play it.
Jushi looks really easy. I've heard everyone say Jushi's is super duper easy.
Jushi is like China, but you don't have any brain cells.
Yeah, Jushi's is really easy.
So it's China. Got it.
Japanese is interesting. Japanese, I think Japanese is one of the better balanced civs right now as far as the new ones go, because it's really strong, but it is kind of hard to play. It doesn't have a super, at least for me, it doesn't have a supernatural tempo. And I've struggled with Japanese. I'm trying to figure it out. We all got to
play Byzantines to get respect out of the community. That's how we got to do it.
I am so sick of that narrative. I am so sick of the narrative. You have to play this civ or you're disrespected. I'm so over that.
Hey man, my goal is get Stockton to crash out and just start snapping. lose his cool today. That's my goal.
Like I don't play broken civs. Like just bullcrap. Listen, I saw you guys doing Malian games.
Stockton, you're a cheater, dude. I'm a cheater. Dude.
I am a dirtbag.
So I will just add. I can't speak explicitly to. I don't actually know what the name of the wing you're referring to is because it has like 6 names in this conversation.
Here, they saw me.
You know, the Bazaar.
It's the trade wing and it's the Bazaar.
It's the Bazaar. Okay. So despite the specifics of some really specifically broken things, I think what is happening is this. And I'm going to use League of Legends as an example because it's currently the game I'm very focused on, but I was very focused on it before as well. In League of Legends, there became an issue as the game went wide. And what I mean by that is you have a lot of choices in champions. RTSs, this is kind of a first issue of an RTS for the RTS genre because there aren't a lot of RTSs that have very asymmetric stuff and a large number of them. They've generally been StarCraft or Age of Empires 2, where they're all the same except for minor tweaks, or they're very, very specific. And the issue you're running into is that the wider you go, the more issues you have with interactions. And I think not all of them, but a lot of the pro players in the Age of Empires 4 scene are new to professional gaming. Maybe not new to gaming, but they're this is the first game they've been like, oh my gosh, I'm a name. And you're I think seeing a lot of the frustrations that other games have had come out. And I think the only you're seeing the frustrations come out and people wear their emotions on their sleeves. And so when they have a reaction while they're live streaming this new thing for content, they just say the reaction out loud. And that's okay. That happens. And so you're getting a lot of this emotional knee-jerk response, which can be over the top. It can be not well analyzed. And you're also seeing the growing pains of something going wide, where specifically when League of Legends changes something dramatic, something really bizarre people figure out to do, and they grind that to get a high rank because they're not going to be a professional. They're not going to be making money doing this. They're not a big streamer. Their big claim to fame is I got to X peak rank. And when they tell people that, they aren't going to say, well, I got it with Farimba Fastcastle, right? And so what you're seeing is a lot of people grind the really strong things, and the pro players are getting annoyed because these non-pros are beating them, and these people that would never beat them in any normal situation are beating them because strategies haven't been figured out. Strategies are overtuned. Things like that have happened, which hasn't really happened in this game because there hasn't been this injection of new things like there has been now. It was like 2 was the most before. And they played them in a PBE style thing for a long time before it launched. And this one, everybody got like a week or 2 early access. And so there's just a lot of difference between now and other expansions, and a lot of similarities between now and other games. And I guess my issue that I would have with the professionals doing what they're doing and the big streamers doing what they're doing is people copy you. And you guys set the tone for what the community is going to do. And if you're doing you're as a person in a it's kind of like being a manager in a managerial position. You're managing the community. You're held to a higher standard, so you need to be able to control your reactions better, so as to not create this flood on Reddit and forums and discords and whatnot. And it's kind of a responsibility of big time people, whether I didn't ask for this, people just started watching me because I was good, fine. But that's the role you've taken on. And if you want to keep the community good, you have to be very careful with how you react to things like this. Even if you were casually just frustrated, whatever, one little outburst isn't a big deal. But I hear Soccerton, and he isn't the only person I've heard have the problem, have this issue where there's been a consistent complaints and consistent issues from multiple people big in the community. And what that does is creates a community that copies them, because that's all the community does anyway. And that's the danger with what's happening. More than just being annoying, more than any of that, is you're setting a tone that's a dangerous tone.
Yes. This is 100%. I don't know if that was very quiet. My sample was very quiet. Let me do that again. I 100%. I think that is exactly my frustration, is like saying like certain things are, let me ring the bells for you here. There we go. Like that's my issue, I think, because I understand, and I am the first one to say, yeah, this needs to maybe be nerfed and maybe played around with. But the whole like, oh, I won't GG someone because they're playing a UBIDS. Oh, I'm not going to, I don't respect them as a player anymore. Like that kind of talk. You are a stalwart, like the community member, someone who people look up to. I'm very, very frustrated with that, because I just feel like that just doesn't promote a good culture for the game. Like obviously things are overtuned. Obviously going against Joan of Arc is really frustrating, even for me, who's the quote unquote cheater playing a UBIDS. Like it's tough, you know, I always like to say, win like you just do it all the time, lose like it was really nice for a change. And a lot of the top guys are not used to losing, and they don't take it very well. Ever. I mean, I won't say ever. That's a generalization, but I've noticed a lot of top guys don't lose very well. I don't think anyone likes to lose.
Is it the tippity top complaining? Like I know we're not saying no names.
I don't know if I want to say tippity top, but I would say definitely guys who are big streamers, usually Conqueror and above, typically, or sometimes they fall down the diamond because they're on a big Byzantines kick and they're just getting their butts kicked. And I think that's getting to them. I genuinely think it's getting to them, and I think they are struggling with the fact that other normal people are beating them. And you know, like I just kind of feel like, you know, everyone's got to win and lose sometimes. Like sometimes you just, maybe your Civ you chose just isn't working and it needs to be buffed. Move on to something else. If you're not having fun with it, might as well ride the wave and pick one of the broken Civs and play it for a bit. I mean, it's not like there's one broken Civ and one particular broken strat. There's multiple Civs that have quote unquote broken strats. So you might as well just pick one and then prove that you're the best, I think, right now. And then say, hey, I'm playing this. I think it should be nerfed, but everyone else is playing it. Everyone else is playing other Civs that also need nerfs. We're just having fun here. Like that would be the way to do it, I think.
And I think there is a argument to be made that some things need nerfed or changed, and if ever and if Beastie Cutie and Marine Lord in 3DB and top end people are going, oh my gosh, this is busted. If it's not busted in Platinum, but it's busted up there, that's like saying, well, again, League of Legends, Aphelios is a very complicated attack damage carry who was ridiculous in professional play and garbage in standard play, and that's okay to have. But that means you need to tune it to professional play, because if you have something that's giga busted in professional play, the tournaments and the things that drive the game forward become bad. And so that's why I tend to be generally balanced towards professional play is kind of where I like to see things go, solely because, especially if it's an esport thing, that's where the game's face is the professional, big production, big high-end, big money spender. And so you want that to be quality. And if you're bad at the game and suffering because your favorite Civ is only good at a high level, that's not the game dev's problem.
Yeah, I just really despise people going, oh, look, this person's only playing a UBIDs or something like that. Look how disgusting they are. Do you know, or when they start tapping in the chat after the game going, do you realize how broken you are with your Civ? Like, do you realize how bad mannered? And it's like, dude, you lost a game and you're showing how salty you are. Like, that's not good for the game. He's playing it because it's strong. I mean, is anyone going to go out there and pick, what's the worst Civ I can think of right now? I hate to say it. Is anyone last season pick an HRE thinking they're going to go all the way to the tippy top? Like,
yeah.
I mean, you know that, right? So I moved away from HRE because it wasn't feeling good last season. HRE's been in a bit of a rough spot. Actually, HRE's really good against Japanese, by the way. Anyone who's wondering, they are crazy good. At least I thought so. I was doing some practice trying to figure out that matchup as Japanese. It's tough. HRE is that fast castle with HRE is lightning next to Japanese. Oh, as I say, I just got myself off topic there. But like, I don't like the idea of shaming people for playing these Civs in these ways who are just average players who are just having a fun time. Like, I don't know. I just feel like it looks bad when the professionals, like, I think it's all, you're good. They're going to get listened to, right? They're going to complain and go, hey, this is broken. And the devs will listen and make some changes. But man, like getting upset at people and players for enjoying the game right as it's getting big isn't healthy for long-term growth.
Well, tell you the truth, Sock, I'm saying right now, man, sometimes, bro, you gotta realize that some people are just sore losers, and I guess it's okay. I'm like it's
people are looking
like,
up to those sore losers. That's my worry. That's what Caleb said.
I think maybe like, I know some people are kind of echo chambers. So like BC's like, oh, this is broken. But it's like, yeah, this is maybe, yeah, it is broken. Like, yeah, I get it, but at the same time, like a lot of people need scapegoats for like losing, like, you know, and, you know, I'm not going to do it for the sake of the podcast, but I'll drop names. I watch players like, dude, you're just kind of like, I almost want to play them on mute because like they lose and they're like, you know what, dude, this is what a broke game. Right
after
this
they ran all the way to castle or something.
Exactly. Like, and it's just like, dude, you just like, I just watched you, man. I mean, I'm seeing like, you know, you're focused on one thing. I'm watching your resource usage. I watch you make a giant mistake and you blame the game for it. Like, it's just with any game. I mean, when you start losing, because I mean, I tell you the truth, man, the top 10 players, the players that are qualified EGC, they're not the ones that we're talking about here.
Not really. Not entirely. I mean, a little. Like, I mean, some of them. But for the most part,
you might catch them mid mold if you click on their Twitch stream, but they're not the one posting on Reddit. They're not the ones doing this. They're like you gotta realize sometimes players like top 10 players, even Beastie, like he'll mold. He'll say something, and we all do. We all do. We all do it. I mean, like I said, everyone does it. And sometimes, you know, you gotta realize like the people that post on Reddit, it's like, dude. Okay, you're done. Are you done? Like, because you're not on the FAQ. You're not doing nothing. Developers aren't on Reddit surfing. You're really trying to create a narrative so people agree with you, so you can feel better about getting washed on the ladder day by the UBITs. Like, dude, like it's okay because when you watch a pro tournament, you're starting to see how these pro players have figured out Joan of Arc. I'm figuring out how to use Joan of Arc. Like people have figured out you just don't really attack Joan of Arc early. You just really don't fight her.
I think that's a problem in itself, but yeah, that is the thing to do.
So like that's like how they're kind of figuring out how to counter until the devs do what they have to do. They have figured out, okay, until the devs finally decide to release a patch, we're just not going to do this until, or like you said, like with the UBITs, you kind of just, you know, they find ways because I've watched these two Civs that everybody says is broken and you don't lose with get cooked. right today. I'm like, okay.
Well, I've been cooked. I've been cooked many times. I went on an absolute tear, and I think the strategy was new enough. I went on an absolute tear, and now I feel figured out. Like I'm almost thinking about going back to Japanese because I feel figured out on the ladder.
Solved.
It kind of has though, so it makes you kind of go like, is it really broken if like everyone can counter it? Like it's, I mean, the matchups matter a lot though. I think still, but
and I'm realizing too. I'm not going to say the name, but I see who you posted. You know, you're one of the examples of somebody you posted, like who you're really using.
That was a Reddit comment, so we can say his name. It's a Reddit comment.
All right.
He
well,
posted
then,
it. I before you do, I want to say I like him as a streamer quite a bit, though. I do enjoy his streams a lot.
Listen, it's nothing personal.
He posted on Reddit with this.
I'll drop names. Okay, let's like this is not this is why we can't get this is why we're not the official because of me. Okay, but like Invictus. Okay, dude, I looked you up on AV Forward. You're 355. That's nowhere near pro. So like I'm not going. You are just molding, dude. You're just mad, and I looked at your win rate. And like you've been losing and winning, you're 55% win rate. You just win and lose. So when you lose, it's a problem. When you beat them, then it's like, all right, well, it's just like, dude, you're just kind of whining. You'll be okay. Figure it out. You see people on the ladder in the top 100, they're figuring it out. So clearly it's a skill issue. You can blame the game all you want. Okay, you sit up there. Listen, man, if you can't make a layup, you can't blame the rim. Okay, dude, that's just how it is. All right, bro, you just can't. You can't, like, at the end of the day, we got to look at ourselves in the mirror and be like, maybe I kind of suck. Got to get a little better. Me, I've made peace with it. Maybe you got to do it too. Okay. I just got to get better, or I just got to get used to being where I'm at. Okay. I'm not going to complain on the software of the game or the input lag of the game or, oh, this wing is broken or this is broken. It's just exhausting conversation.
It is. So I do want to say, though, like, it is valid to say, hey, this strategy does feel overtuned. It might need to be looked at and reworked. I think that is valid to say. I think just the vitriol that goes behind it is my biggest issue.
Yeah. No, there are balance issues that need to be sorted out. A little bit, and I think one of the biggest issues, honestly, is the fact that where are all of the balance issues? $15, please, and you can play with the balance issue Civs. I've seen a lot of people complain rightly that was this like a marketing thing? Do you want access to like Civs with a higher like quote unquote base power?
Except for Order of the Dragon.
Except for I mean. They're good. They're fine. I think Japan is.
I don't think they feel very fine. Japan feels generally pretty well balanced. I think, but
Japan can do some crazy stuff, but so can Rus. They don't feel any worse than like Rus.
Yeah.
But yeah, all the busted things are behind a paywall, which
I think is I think playing off of your point here, Beal. You're saying that if people feel some of the bad reactions that people feel. That they are doing a pseudo pay to win to try and boost sales. Mm-hmm. And so what's really interesting is League of Legends has a lot of similarities with this, where they'll release a new champion and they'll release a skin line for other champions, and the next patch they buff the skin line champions. And people are like, oh my gosh, you're literally trying to sell stuff by just making somebody strong. And it can feel like that sometimes. I'm not convinced the developers are doing that.
I'm not.
I'm not.
Even League of Legends ones, even though I think it does sometimes. It's pretty coinky-dink that Kane got another skin and just got buffed at the same time, and he was not at a low win rate. I think that there's so much data on the back end that we never see and nobody ever talks about, and there's all these NDAs, and Bitterlane can't even come on here and give us the scoop. That we never see, and so there are changes and decisions made that we go, what? Why was that? Or, oh, well, this seems like a coincidence, and we can make these rationales that aren't necessarily true because I can almost guarantee you the marketing team isn't telling the balance team what to do.
Yeah. Well, I would say too. I think that when they were designing these civs, I think was probably a good rule of thumb to go, hey, if we're going to be balancing these things, we'd rather it be a little stronger than a little bit underpowered overall.
And that was a League of Legends theory for a long time. That was a League of Legends theory for a long time, where they would release something slightly overtuned because nobody had it figured out. Nobody knew how to play it. Nobody knew what to do. And so you release it strong. That way people will want to do it, because if you release something weak that's new, nobody will learn the champion.
Yeah, if they released like a new deli, essentially, that just felt really rough, that was worse. Imagine a deli with no elephants. Like, no one would ever touch it, ever. You know?
Yeah, and it's like, and if like Delhi lost to everybody and had a negative win rate because they're really careful with their numbers, it would just, nobody would learn it, and so they'd never know where that balance point is. So in general, and because this patch was so large and because there were so many new introductions, you're feeling it harder. But the Ottomans and Malians pretty strong on release. And the reason is because it's easier to pull back after people start figuring things out. You can find where the peaks are at and level them out, as opposed to trying to find where the dips are at when you're at the low end. It's a better balancing strategy.
Well, you know, Ottomans have been strong since they got introduced, and they're still strong even now, I would say.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. One thing I will say is that every single rank besides Conqueror, Ubits and Joan of Arc are on top. So
yeah, they are over. They are both
that's
over
something
two.
to consider. But is it? It's the thing. Other things to consider are ease of play. What other mechanics more fun than other mechanics? Is there higher APM required, which can caveat into our second point?
Yes, APM would be. I do want to move on from this a little bit. We'll talk about some of the other civs as we go on, but I think we've driven the gambling into the ground, and we've kind of talked about the broken civs thing. APM. So to switch gears here a little bit. I want to shout out my brother-in-law. I've done this a couple times, but this time I was genuinely like jaw on the floor amazed at something. I was looking at he and I did some team games, and he and I have had some good team games. I actually went 5 for 5 in my placements I went up to Plat 3 right off the bat, and now I'm slowly sinking back down to Plat 1. I think I'm just a Plat 1 player, guys. I think that's where I'm at. Anyways, American Jeremy he is like gold 2, I think, maybe gold 3. He's somewhere in that range. Just to give you guys a preview. What would you think? I don't know if I actually was all looking at, but if you had to take a guess at what the average APM for a gold 3 player is, what would you say?
100.
110.
100?
Yeah,
110. Maybe like 80 on a slow game with like HRE or something that you don't have to click as much. American Jeremy's got 30. 30 actions.
Impressively low.
Impressively low. Yeah.
I think I saw Rotterdam
does he
do a StarCraft challenge. Sorry.
No. I was just going to ask, does he click icons or does he use hotkeys?
Does that not make a difference? Because
well, it's slower. It's drastically slower. So my buddy Gabe Monroe, shout out to you, homie. He Age of Empires 2 guy. And I got him to play AoE 4 with me sometimes, and he got me into AoE 2, and I played with him before AoE 4 launched, getting myself hyped for it. And he clicks icons. He clicks the house and then clicks on the screen, and then clicks on a barracks and then clicks on the screen. And he's really good strategically, but his APM is just abysmal because he's not doing anything to spin anything faster. He's physically only, mouse player only. And I was kind of wondering if Jeremy was like that.
I have no idea because he's currently in Australia and I haven't seen him play physically in a while. But my thought is that like he's like gold 2 or gold 3. He's doing really well. So, I mean, if he's doing that with 30 APM, does it really matter?
Well, no, it doesn't really. It just shows that Age of Empires is a very macro focused game, and APM isn't what wins you. Micro is not what wins you the game, which tends to associate with APM.
I mean, there is a point though where he is going to run into a wall.
Yes, there will be a point where he hits a wall.
Yeah.
Well, there'll be a point where he'll naturally speed up. He'll naturally, I think, speed up as he gets better too. I mean, I feel like I think I mentioned a couple weeks ago that like my APM normally sat around like 100, 120. And lately I've been cracking up into like 140 up to 170, which
because you've been playing more.
I've been playing more. And I looked at one of my streams. I was watching one of my streams back, just kind of see how like I looking at my game, but I was watching the stream instead of just the game. And I was kind of shocked, like how fast I was, not just like spamming the ground clicking, because you can do that too and get your APM up to like really high. But just how fast I was weaving between things and like kind of bouncing back and forth with my scout, my town center, building this, building that, queuing things. I sat there and I kind of looked at it and I was like, man, I'm going really fast, like faster than I remember being. And I do think I have increased almost naturally my APM. Not that it like APM, like it both matters a little bit, but it like people, I think, over focus on the number, because like APM, like the number you don't need to hit X number to be a good player. Like that's just absolute bullcrap. Like, but you will increase your actions per minute. Your genuine like action. I wonder what the difference is between like I wish you could filter through like random spam clicks and effective, like what you're really doing.
Effective APM, yeah.
Because
it's a long-held argument, Socraton. Since the beginning of StarCraft days, there have been just people who are, gotta get your APM up, and other people are like, well, you don't have to have that APM to be at a semi-competitive level, and it is. People like things to reach for, and APM is one of those numbers where they see Koreans clicking, the keyboard's lighting on fire because you're just clicking buttons so fast. And it looks cool, it makes you look good, but effective APM is a completely different thing, and it's not all about the clickety clicks.
It's one of those things like which follows. Like you improve at the game and your APM will go up. If you don't set out to just improve your APM, because that's going to get you nothing. So don't look at that as any sort of metric of skill. Look at your win-loss ratio.
Win-loss ratio. Look at
the macro numbers,
game to
man.
game.
Total like resources.
Well, just how you feel. Even just did you respond better to these? Even though you misclicked, or even though you were slow, did you have the right response? Because, like Beal said, it will come with time, up to a certain point, and then certain people have their own caps, and at that point, you need to train yourself specifically on speed or whatever. But there is a natural learning curve with the game, then the speed. And that's almost always how it is with everything.
Don't put the cart before the horse.
Yeah, won't go very far.
Well, guys, I thought it was like pretty much like starting to get more and more debunked that APM is not as important as we try to consider it at the lower level. Because I think
really not,
they've like done like pro players have done like actual challenges where they've like literally played the game with one hand. And
that was the challenge that I mentioned.
Just
tried to get as low APM as he could, and he was still beating grandmasters in StarCraft.
Yeah. So like I think like exactly like Askallad just said. I think we just think that they consider more. It's like more about decision making and multitasking over APM. Because
already his profile open right now, and every single matchup he has against another semi-pro player that I would consider about his own level, like 1700 ELO or some such. He's always being beaten on APM every single time. He's always half the amount, and he's on 75% win rate. So I'd say he's doing good.
Who's that?
Good.
Yeah.
Don Hardy.
Don Hardy? Oh, okay.
He's famous for having low APM because, like, when you see his streams, he's just chilling in his sofa.
He's literally laying down,
like with his feet up.
I feel like he's made like a brand for himself doing that. I watch him because I follow a lot of AoE players, and like I followed him way back when he's playing more. I'll click on him, and the dude literally has his feet kicked up on his desk, and I'm like, dude,
very relaxed.
What?
And he's listening to good music,
and he'll win. I realized that APM really is like, even me. I have lowered my APM. Guys, literally, at one point in time, my APM was over 200, and I was losing all the time.
I just imagine you just like smashing your face into the keyboard, like clicking your mouse like a million times.
That's how it was. Like, I mean, I've always played I'm over a twitchy player. I spam click, TC back.
The thing I hear from professionals a lot of streamers who are like high diamond and above will usually say like, oh, well, I click a lot and spam click at the beginning because it keeps me warmed up. And like, I both kind of understand that mentality and also disagree. I see both. I can kind of get that you want to be quick so when you need it, it's there. But at the same time, it's not like you can't just start clicking. It's not like you have to it's not like you have to start limbering up and stretching to go run a mile. Like your hands are going to click as fast as they normally. I don't know. I feel it both ways.
It's not only the limbering up, right? It's you already try to get into the multitasking. It's not that you click the ground. It is that you switch between the town center scout, villager distribution, town center scout, villager distribution. Like, this is things you have to do later on as you control your army the entire time. This is not clicking the ground. This is actually doing the things already so that you get into a habit. It's like, that's your game cycle.
It's
like an internal metronome.
I like that.
Yeah.
Internal metronome. There we go. That's a good way of putting it.
Internal metronome, and it's the faster you can start implementing good habits, the easier it will be. If you get to platinum, and I'm not picking on Jeremy, he's doing probably better than I ever would. But if he isn't doing those, or if he is pretty slow, he needs to, I think it's not it's not out of the question for him and people like him to start implementing good things, checking things every so often, tabbing over to your scout more often, while you're still at a lower level. Because if you get to your peak and then try and implement those, you're going to drop down really hard and feel really, really bad about it.
Yeah.
It's what happened with me in League of Legends. I had some really bad habits that I had to break. And while breaking them, I dropped like 2.5 ranks. And now I'm higher than I was then. It's like, it takes time.
So I like this a lot. Sorry, not to cut in. I really like this a lot because I've been working on my key bindings. One thing I would say to newer, younger players out there who are still picking the game up or maybe just coming back and wanting to get better and you just feel slow. This is a thing I say is start learning the, I'll drag and drop like certain buildings instead of using the key command, just because sometimes I just fib the key and it's just annoying. I can just drag drop as fast. But for certain things, I'm adding in key commands for certain things. I'm learning those like key bindings, learning those things, and I'm changing my own key bindings. I actually just recently changed my, I think I've said before, I use spacebar for my town center, and I realized it always brought me back home. I want to be able to queue villagers without having to look at my home though, because I'm got my scout I want to babysit. I messed with some settings and changed some things up. So now I hit space to select it, but then shift space to focus on my hometown center. So now I can really have more control of when I go back and forth. But my main point was for those new people coming in, don't feel like you need to learn every single one of those right now. The best way to start breaking some of those bad habits, kind of like what Caleb was saying, is pick one. Pick like one thing to get better at. For me, it was houses. For houses, I almost never click and drag. It's always QQ. I grab a fill, QQ, put the house down. Like boom. Like shift queuing commands is really big. Finding like getting I put my docs on 0 now as my docs will be on command group 0. Like doing things so I can kind of start bit by bit getting those in will make you faster and be able to jump between things more too. So my big recommendation is pick like one thing at a time.
Well, like Lucifer, I mean, what you said, that's he recommended that. He said pretty much like to really get your mechanics together the best way possible is to use your mouse as least as possible. Like, it's easier said than done, but he literally said that, like, if you want to get your, hotkeys down and your commands, like, they're literally there for a reason. It's going to naturally speed you up, which in a game that timing matters. Like, APM is not everything, but it's something. So, like, the quicker you can kind of get, like, not necessarily for the reason of APM, just for the smooth and consistency of, okay, you click this button this many times, you're going to directly do that. Like I said, I think at the end of the day, APM is not really the biggest goal here. I think really it's decision-making and multitasking.
Yeah, like APM should always be like a second order sort of.
Like APM. And then once you get down your decision making, because like I said, you can click and have 300 APM all you want, but you could just keep sending your spearmen in the just long bomb. Like you just like
it'll be the best micro spearmen ever as they die valiantly.
So really, like I think the biggest thing that should be really focused on is like actually. Like, believe it or not, I was coming to just maybe my extra sheet, but maybe I'll kind of just not. But like, really, a lot of people don't even read tech tree. Like, a lot of people don't even know exactly 100% what the Civ does and what's the best way of playing. Which, like, I've kind of learned to do more. I haven't watched a single build order this season. Build orders are awesome. Like, they're good. They're a good way to get you started. But like, if you actually go and read a tech tree, like, when you're playing business teams, you actually have to read tech trees. Like, you have to read a tech tree.
Had a better UI. Just saying.
Yeah, you're right. Tech tree, it is. I like the AOE2 tech tree too. And like these tech trees are like so much. It's kind of hard to like actually, it's a lot to look at. It's a lot of information. You try to do the collapse form, whatever. It's still a lot. But the point I'm making is that like we focus on things that really aren't the main focus. We're worried about how much APM is, but don't even realize that villagers gather 10 gold per drop off, and this is what the upgrade to it drops off, and we don't even know exactly what game plan we're going for. That's what I was messing up on. I was more worried about how fast I was moving and didn't even know that I was literally implementing the most goofiest strategy that you could possibly implement and make the game more difficult.
Watch you play, honestly.
Oh, dude, you have before. You're looking at me like, what are you doing, brother?
You play, but I would what are you doing? Watch you play now that you're playing new Civs that you say you have read a tech tree for, and that you have not watched a build order for.
Please, you will probably still look at me crazy, but I have been actually enjoying the game more than I ever have. It become more a little satisfying when I tried things out and lost. And I'm like, oh, okay, watched it back. Oh, okay, I did that. I did this. My APM has dropped. It has most definitely dropped because I've slowed down my gameplay a little bit to actually consciously look at what I'm doing. Especially playing Byzantines, like my APM is probably Jeremy can probably run around me. He probably can run circles around me because I'm reading mid game. I'm like, okay, so the
Open up the book.
exactly I think a lot of people have to kind of shift. I think sometimes we get over influenced by pro players, and we're so quick to try to get on their level.
Well, you pull up one of their streams. What do you see? Beastie clicking like a million times per second.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
I guess I need to do that to get good at the game. And meanwhile, you got 200 APM. You've right-clicked your spears into archers like 30 times a minute. And
we all know Beastie's on Adderall, so you can't get to that level.
I don't think he's on Adderall. You gotta stop saying that, Trinell. We're gonna get like a cease and desist one of these days, saying please stop accusing him.
I'm just kidding, brother,
No, I think it's a good point. I think it's really good point.
We're not all Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. We can't master the skyhook, okay? We're just trying our best to work what's best for us.
I'm Kareem in my dreams.
Oh, dude, I wish Kareem in my dreams. There you go. That's
already the Muggsy Bogues of aliens.
Muggsy Bogues, yo, that's crazy. Hey, listen, 5'3". Hey, and guess what? He made it onto he made it work for him. He made it work for him. We always gotta learn our own game.
My favorite content creator is Day9, Sean Plott. He's an old StarCraft or OG StarCraft professional.
Sean is amazing.
Oh my gosh, he's so good. And he his catchphrase for his channel is "Be a better gamer." And part of that, and part of the way he learns new games, is the game. What he expects out of a tutorial is to show you what the fun in the game is and to let you have the fun before you get to strategy, before you get to optimal build orders, before you get to anything. What is the fun, and to start having the fun, because sheep bells. Like that's bells. Like why do we have this podcast? Because we enjoy the game. We think it's fun. We like talking about strategy because it's fun.
I hate this game. I'm not gonna lie. I'm done.
No, but it's people can get caught up really, really easily in today's world with everything going on and with the definitely not athletes around, and it's easy to get caught up in trying to be too competitive, too much into it, and really grinding on yourself. Find the fun, have the fun, then work on the strategies, and the APM will follow up to some point, and then eventually you can work on, after you feel like you've hit a wall, work on that APM. Don't get focused on too much of one thing, especially if you're new. Just have fun. Just go play.
It's a fun game.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Exactly.
I really want to put together like a new player, like how to get you into ranked 1v1, like video, like a 10-minute video.
They need something. It needs to be short too.
You like, oh god, here's the fun. Like
it needs to be short.
Just 10 minutes. If I can, I could probably condense it into 10.
That video that everyone was over the moon of, I don't know who was the creator. It was like a recent thing, a month ago.
Is that the one you posted?
I know
the one that Bill posted? The one you posted, Bill?
Yeah, it was really good, but it was 1 hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is an amazing beginner's video. It's 1 hour and 30 minutes. I'm not going to watch that.
Well, you really can skip it in half an hour too.
Easy to get into. Just watch this hour and a half video.
and then he didn't start describing the game until like the 50-minute mark. I was like, oh.
Yeah, he was just kind of giving an overview. Well, he was like a whole video essay. He doesn't even make like video game content. I think he was like a book reviewer, but he just made this because he was really passionate about it.
That's so funny. I watched that. That was a part.
To summarize it for everyone real quick, he basically said that with a normal video game, like let's say an FPS game, right? Most people who play video games are used to having a controller in your hand or WSAD on the keyboard and a mouse, are used to having one hand walk around on the left side, right hand to look, walk around, walk and movement on the left, look around, and visual on the right. Like most people kind of can speak FPS. Like if you've played one FPS game, if I've played Call of Duty, I can go play Fortnite. Like it's similar functions, right? Like I can, if I've got the basics of just moving within the world, I've got that. I speak that language. And his thing was with RTS games. What's the carryover? What are you bringing that you already have? What's your pre-programmed knowledge you have? And it's multitasking essentially. It's knowing how to multitask. Great video, really good video. It is really long. It's worth the hour though.
It was a good one. Like it's like 2 BCQD build orders. Because that's why I can't watch his build orders. They're too long. Just too long. His build orders are 35 minutes long. I'm like, dude, there's no way.
After like 10 minutes, it doesn't matter for me anymore. I just need to make minutes.
Exactly. He may tell you how to play that exact game.
Listen, just get me to like the 5 minute mark of the game.
Like, dude, I'm saying
at the 27-minute mark, you should have 43 villagers on food, 16 on gold, 4 on wood, and
yeah. If he ate down his build orders, he'd make a real different wave. Like he would do really good.
His build orders are nice though. He is like setting the meta, but yeah, it's a lot to get into.
It's a lot. I mean, it can be daunting, but you could also just stop the video after the first.
That's what I do.
That's what I do.
That's what I do. I'm like, dude, thank you so much for giving me.
I think it's helpful, especially for like when I was like really sweating on HRE. It was really nice for me to be able to go through and be like, okay, so what's he doing with his Aragnates and how many does he have ready for knights coming in at 9 minutes into the game, and then after that, you know what I mean, at 15 minutes and 20 minutes. So like, I think they're more useful the more detailed you're trying to get.
You're right. You're most
so I think it's good to have them that way. I just think maybe having I don't know. All right, this is if you're bronze, stop here.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I think that is how I approached the game like the last 3 seasons because like I played random obviously and I had not really a whole clean build order for anything. I was just obviously I'm exposed to the game. I'm casting games. I know what I'm supposed to do, but I don't know the exact villager count and
I couldn't hop in and play a deli, for instance. Yeah, I just couldn't do it.
Like,
I'm terrible.
I can give a decently fast deli build order, but a deli main will beat me anytime, and like that starts at Platinum 1. But yeah, like. I can get to feudal age and then I can start making normal decisions and play the game, and I feel like then it goes up again for me.
Yeah,
and part of that's just the game design too, because like, you know, what's Dark Age? There's a handful of Dark Age skirmishes, but generally Dark Age is for executing a build order, and that's like where the difference is made in that age.
Like I only hit Conqueror because I actually sat down and practiced build orders again because I couldn't do it before.
Yeah, and it's just that's part of this specific game design, and RTSs in general have build orders, and there are certain.
It's a chess opening.
Yeah, it's a chess opening, and I've actually been playing a lot of chess on my phone.
Ooh,
and it's
fancy.
You gotta teach me, dude. You gotta teach me, dude.
I don't ask for. I am no.
Human chess.
Yeah, dude, human chess, dude. Come on, let's hear it.
When's Chess 2 coming out?
Chess 2.
Chess 2.
I mean, so it's interesting because there is a ton of carryover. Like as I've been getting into this more, like people reference chess, and like Tyler One from Legal Edge is just like doing really, really good at chess right now. It's intriguing because it's like the first esport, because the way it functions, you're not moving your body, you're not being an athlete, you're not doing any of that stuff, but it's very, very like when you start playing the game, one square versus another square does not feel like any difference at all, and as you play it more, you like are like, oh my gosh, if I pick the left square versus the right square, I might just die. And it's like really interesting how like deep it can get with such simple surface level look to it.
I want to move on. To Joan of Arc. We bashed on my Civ. Let's bash on Beals for a little bit. Joan of Arc. We've already touched on the biggest complaint. Yeah. The floor. You have been recognized, Beal. Your time starts now.
All right, opening statement. So I want to put this out there. I want to say that before the expansion was released, I was already saying, hey, look, the Civ I'm most excited for is Jeanne d'Arc. Everybody was like, oh, the Byzantines, the Japanese, they look cool. I was like, no, Jeanne d'Arc. Also, like a couple weeks before that, I remember saying, before they even announced when it was just her name, I remember saying, is this going to be a Civ with a hero unit? And how do hero units fit into the design space of Age of Empires? Because you're taking like a Warcraft 3 design decision and try to nestle it into AoE 4's design space. And without off the bat, I was just like, I don't think that's such a good idea.
It's really not.
It's not, but I do hope.
But it's here anyway.
I feel like it is going to fall eventually. She's either going to be like impossible to balance. She's either going to be too overtuned, or just too
unplayable.
weak, or just too similar to the actual French that it's not a difference.
She's a knight. She just has a name. It's fine.
Right. She turns into a Khan or something. But for the
not
time
the Khan
being,
again.
And I mean, I do hope they eventually find the proper balance for Jeanne d'Arc. She is so fun to play. I'm having.
I hope we have a discussion about how to do that later.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Because I have ideas.
That's next podcast.
I have ideas too. But she is so fun to play. This is like, I loved Warcraft 3 before AoE 4. Like, Warcraft 3 is my favorite RTS. I love like the micro of hero units, the additional layer. Like, you've got your like normal macro, you've got your micro in fights, but your macro also encompasses on leveling up heroes across the map, like timing their experience gains, going to shops, buying them items, kitting them out on top of like an RTS. So fun to play.
I loved it. It was so good.
Yeah. And I was so pumped when Jeanne d'Arc was like, oh, we get to do similar things to that. I get to like keep a hero around, have unique abilities, gain experience, all that stuff. She's a blast to play. And I really understand why people think she is so overtuned as well. So let's hear a complaint.
Yeah, I think I'll start this one off. I think the biggest problem with her is that I think fundamentally in the early age, especially, there is no reason to engage her. There's no incentive to be had for engaging Joan of Arc as the opponent.
And okay, I'm going to say I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think
really
you can like herself, right? You avoid the hero unit. You can engage, like build horsemen, go raid her villagers. You can camp boars, and you can engage her then while she's fighting a boar. Try to kill her when she's at half health. But I think staying away from her and trying to find your advantage against her economy is where they were going for the design decision there, because you are at such a disadvantage if you go head on, because you're going to feed her.
The problem, Beal, is that what is she going to do then? I agree. I'm going to go try send to horsemen, but in the meantime, she's just going to take some knights and just wreck my base behind that.
I mean, well, at that point, you're playing against French. You're playing against French with either slower knight production, like they're going to be at your base later, or they're going to be like normal French timing, but then like Jean's just completely out of the picture. So you're just engaging against your standard Royal Knight opening for the French.
I mean, I guess the tricky thing is if I want to go and try and like raid and disrupt, because that is a big downside with Joan of Arc, is that the eco isn't quite there like it is with French. They're a little stunted economy wise. The problem is by the time I do get any kind of things to go raid, those resources are not then put into my defense. And so the French knights will just steamroll my villas back at home. Like you have to invest in that defense, because those Royal Knights have to be respected, even if it's just one or two of them. And so you get kind of trapped in your base, unless you're a hyper aggressive Civ and you're kind of taking map control everywhere, maybe like a Delhi or something. But I just feel like there's such a juggernaut, because I can't, by the time I get to their base, they will have a knight in mine. I can't allocate resources equally to doing it both well, you know?
I can understand why you feel that way, but I can also say that is not my issue with Jenny. My issue with Jenny is not that she's strong. My issue with
Jenny from the block. I'm sorry.
Genuinely unrewarding to play against her. It feels unfun.
There needs to be a bonus.
Every time you take a fight, it feels like you're losing.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you kill her, it feels like it did nothing, because she comes instantly back. Because you can just buy her back and there is no repercussion except for a tiny gold cost.
Is the biggest issue with Jeanne. I think that's where she is the most broken.
And that is because that makes it genuinely unfun to play against Jenny for me. Like,
no, that's exactly how I feel.
No matter what I do, I'm losing.
That's exactly how I feel.
Explain buyback to me.
So when she dies, actually,
Jeanne
go ahead.
Nope.
When she dies, you can go to your town center. in Feudal Age when she's level 2. I think it's like a 2-minute respawn timer, or you pay 250 gold and she's boom right back immediately.
Interesting. So the punishment isn't
at full health.
At full health, yeah, ready to go.
Interesting. Yeah, that's
yeah, no.
I mean, the punishment in like Warcraft was like they got put on a timer. Same thing with like League of Legends with heroes. They get put on a timer when they die. That's like that's the reward you get outside of the other stuff. But
I feel like Warcraft, was it resources and timer? Maybe it was resources to build like your second and third heroes.
It was resources to build your extra heroes. The first one you got for free. You had to build it. It took like build time.
Yeah.
But it was free. And then your extras you would get at the cost of money. But even when they die, they got put on a cooldown before they would respawn. And I think that's really
cost anything.
It didn't cost anything to revive them, but it was like 50 seconds towards later parts of the game.
You could instantly revive at the tavern for half HP and resources.
Yeah, but it would cost a good chunk of money, and they were half HP and stuff.
And also,
it wasn't at your base.
And the other, like, they had heroes, and they got massive experience boosts for killing your heroes.
We don't.
You had an incentive to kill the hero.
There's no incentive to fight.
Right now, your incentive to kill the hero is so she doesn't get experience and kill you instantly.
Yeah, and the thing is, she's difficult to take down because she can heal herself. She has an ability to heal herself. Oftentimes, you'll get her down to like 1 HP, and then the player will just pull her back smartly. Will pull her back and then heal. And so you're putting everything in trying to kill her. And then when it's like you said, Askallad, when you do kill her, she just pops right back up, and I'm still got a bunch of knights to deal with. And it's just like, oh my goodness. And the area of effect attack she has against spears means it's so difficult to counter the knights.
Wait, she has AoE against spears?
She has AoE against spears. Yeah, that's the problem. Is she comes at you with knights, and then you have the spears to brace. Then she just AoEs your spears down and is healing.
That's so funny.
She is powerful, man. She packs a punch.
There's 2 skill trees per se that you can go. There's melee Jenny that has an AoE cleave, and there's the range Jenny that has like a true shot that does pure damage.
Interesting.
Hey, can I interject really quick? This is just bringing me so much joy to hear my 2 fellow podcast mates argue about which is less OP out of their 2 cheater main Civs.
I know.
Amazing. Okay, listen. As the one podcast member who has had some integrity and is not playing either of these civilizations. You know what? No, man, they're both broke. I'm not playing either of them. Yeah, there we go.
Me either.
Yeah, exactly. So us, me and Caleb, we're gonna. I already asked that. Me and Caleb are Askallad. We're gonna sit back on the side and watch.
We're gonna go play Juice Legacy.
I'm gonna get the popcorn.
We've held on to our honor. We're playing Byzantines. We're playing nothing but difficult Civs this season, dude. I'm just playing. I'm just baiting me. You're just baiting me.
I feel it. I can feel it.
Best of 7, Soccerton.
Best of 2nd. Let's go right now, Sir Devil. Let's go.
Yeah, but who's the real winner of that game? Like the one who wins is the more cheating Civ. Like
exactly. That'd be a really good. I'll watch that show match. Who's the bigger cheater Civ?
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? But
anyway,
yeah, my fault. Let me get back to
Let's get back on it. It's very well balanced and fun. She's so fun to play, though. This is.
But she's so unfun to play
that
against.
I want. Like, right? There needs to be some sort of.
Honestly, I have like
cleaner.
2 fixes that would immediately make it better.
Mm-hmm.
I had fixes. So
I had an idea. I did pose. I do want to get this out there. Just
okay, Mr.
Like
Cheetah, we're listening.
Thinking from a thematic, like because she's a hero unit, and it's weird to have like you come back to life. I think it would make sense if you kill Joan, you get a gold bounty for it, but she doesn't like die. She's like quote unquote kidnapped. And if you want to buy her back, it's like paying a ransom. So the gold that you spend to buy back goes to the other player on top of the gold bounty that they got for killing the Maid of Orleans.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
I like that.
I don't know about that.
Honestly, even if there was just a bounty just to buy her back, I think that'd be enough. My thought was get rid of the buyback entirely. Was my thought. Would just get rid of that, make it so she just comes back on a set timer that's a bit longer. That way, there's an incentive to get rid of her from the field because then you don't have to worry about her for X amount of time. But I like your system. Your system's nice. Then it rewards the player from engaging.
It gives you a decision because as Sean, you want to play with the hero unit. You don't want to just sit around without her, but now you need to make the decision of like, okay,
I like that.
Do I send resources and tribute to get this hero back?
I've got one other thing I would change if I can real quick. My other that was kind of fix one, and I like your fix better than my fix actually. That's brilliant because that would make the game fun for everyone. My other fix is I think her experience, she shouldn't be able to get up to Castle Age Joan of Arc until you reach Castle Age. I think that should be capped. Her levels should be capped with the age you're in.
No, that's a huge nerf. That's like I think that's a little
okay. Think about this. She gets the spawner champions age 3. She turns into a mounted unit. She now takes additional damage from spears. It feels like if you're going to engage Joan in feudal for an extended period of time, you really do need to think about eventually getting to castle. It's kind of like playing against English. And they're doing their longbow like feudal all in. And when they start getting that critical mass of men at arms, and now you're realizing, I don't really have any units that can engage against these. I think it's a similar sort of timer there.
Okay. I would say if you implemented the first change, I'd be okay with it. Because as it is right now, it feels really busted that you can't kill her without her just popping right back up. And then she gets to level 3 and you got Castle Age stuff around you. I think with your fix, if you were to do that change that you mentioned, I think then I could see the argument for that. I could be swayed.
Once there's a listen to that, I like that actually. That would be really different.
It feels bad to kill her.
Yeah, like you actually.
What if? So I really like Beal's idea of making a decision paying the person. I think that's a good fix. I still think there should be some kind of cooldown after a hero unit dies. I just think it is the most natural way to have a thing. And then in order to get her back, you could then purchase her. And then my thought instantly goes with that strategy is, okay, I just focused her down so I can try and get a boost of income, assuming that person will buy it. And then I never get that boost of income. So now my strategy is kind of thrown out. So you can kind of play mind games that way. The other one that I had,
you don't have to deal with Joan. So you still, it's a win-win either way to take her down.
No, I know. But my other thought was, get rid of the buyback. I don't know why that exists.
It works in Dota.
Well, yeah,
sure. Buyback is in the game because it is fun to play with the hero unit.
Yes.
And I get that, and I get that. But the reward for killing a hero unit has always been, and don't fix something that isn't broken, is revive cooldown. If there is an incentive to kill her, I think the other thing aside from getting money for buying her back for ransom to be thematically on point, I think creating a debuff for the units around her when she dies. So you have a bunch of knights, she dies, they lose morale.
That would just get you. That would just be a sweep.
Yeah.
That'd be a high risk, high reward.
You set her on fire, and there's a burn path.
Historically accurate. There you go.
No, but something like that I think would be good. So then you focus fire her and the person gets punished for not microing. So then she's not in the fight, not dying and giving a morale loss, or he dies and everybody loses X stats.
Honestly,
you know what
Caleb, I feel like the passive boost.
That's very prohibitive then.
Yeah, I feel like that when you kill her,
that is also incentivizing you to not use her. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. It would incentivize not to use her, which we don't really want. But I feel like when you do eliminate her, the knights and stuff around her do feel like they just crumple. I will say that when I have managed to kill Joan of Arc, it does feel like everything around immediately crumples in. The problem is I start chasing them back to the base and there she is again. And it's like right back where you were. But I don't know if I would do that bit. But I do kind of, it feels like it just because the natural buffs do just kind of leave, like where she can't kill the spearmen anymore. So they just go straight to the knights.
Boys,
yeah, but then I don't know. I guess my point is that is like, I don't know. I just feel like
that. I'm sorry, like man, Bill, you got my wheels turning in my head. That'd be so crazy if like you kidnap Joan of Arc and they could and based on when you decided to buy her, that depended on how much gold she cost. So it
also feeds into you want Castle Age to and you give gold and it's easier to get to Castle.
Yeah. So if you bought her back within right away, you had to drop a load. You had to get some bread. But the more time, as time waned on, she became cheaper.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, the 250 gold in feudal is
that's
joke.
Yeah, that's not much at all. What if you could be like,
That's less than 2 tickets for Ayubids, just saying.
What if you played as the English, you had an option to kill her, and she never got everybody. You
English can just auto kill her
as a witch.
Oh gosh! All right, well, that means we need to move on to the next subject. We have clearly gone through everything.
You're typing to your opponent, dude. Come on, bro, please, dude. She's young. Don't let this happen. That would be crazy. Okay, I'm sorry.
All right. Let's go to Japanese real quick.
Hold up. I hadn't had my go yet.
Oh, that's fair.
I have more ideas. So I was actually going to lead in with the idea of the ransom, but Bill beat me to it. Also, I don't know who made the suggestion. It was in Blade's stream. Whoever the guy was who came up with that initially. Shout out to you. You're the man. That was an amazing idea.
I came out with it myself.
You came up with it yourself. Well, okay, maybe it was Bill all along, and yeah.
Parallel thoughts. Well, it does seem like an elegant solution to it.
It's a very elegant solution. So there's another thing like that I actually picked up from Path of Exile. So if she dies, she loses some experience, just a little bit, not a lot, but yeah, just lose experience. Just make it more prohibitive. Make that level 3 power spike where you just auto win the fight because you just summon 3 men-at-arms that have bonus damage to spears inside your opponent's army.
I was a dirty Joan player early today. I spawned 3 champions over a wall into the Japanese base.
Oh my god!
I hope you felt really
beautiful.
bad.
You just helicopter dropped him in there.
Oh my gosh! You can do that. And people were like complaining in the Beastie game
That'll
today,
be fixed.
Where Shinobi could blink between walls. I saw that today. It was excellent. It was really fun. It's really fun. That Shinobi feels fun.
They should keep the Shinobi.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. That's a fun. That's a fun mechanic.
RTS, like the blink mechanic, was meant for jumping through walls and stuff.
Yeah, Jonah Arc being able to summon stuff inside the walls, that feels dirty.
No, it
that'll
really
get fixed.
dirty.
Yeah.
It was really dirty. I didn't mean to, but I hit R and
how
they
would you
appeared.
fix that, though? How would you fix that? Because you had to have some way to tell what's inside and outside.
I mean, it's just a coding issue.
For it.
When
how would you code that?
Like, where do you want to spawn these new units? Whatever calculations it makes. Is there a wall between, like, the origin point of Joan, and is there a wall between that and where you're going to spawn them? And if
it just needs to be a travel path. It should be easily done.
Yeah.
Do we need to take a break?
Probably soon.
I have 2 more points because I think there's 2 more issues with Jenny right now. The fact that she gets to level 3 too fast and that just wins you the game automatically.
You can add some more EXP to
you just make it a little harder to hit level 3. And then that her champions are actually just a little too strong. And I mean that in the late game, actually. Because you can train them from the keep, and they're very, very powerful and very cheap. And as soon as you hit that Imperial tech, that makes them even better. Like, they're like the backbone of your army. You don't need any other units. They're so good. Just make them just a little cheap, just a little weaker.
I think he's all you guys saying taking consideration. We need somebody.
I love Bill's buyback idea. I really hope that there are devs listening to this point in the podcast, because I think that is exactly the kind of fix that would make the game really fun to play for both players.
Just go hunt Jenny. It's going to be great.
Well, no, there should be like a regular bounty too for killing Jeanne. There should be, like, because you play Jeanne d'Arc and you get these little dopamine responses, like every time a unit dies within the range of her, and you see like, +7, +7.
Even if you're level 4, it feels so good to see that.
Yeah, even if you know, like, this isn't going to anything. There should be like a big +50 for like just a straight up bounty of killing her.
Yes, more dopamine, please. I'd like some.
Gimme.
My gambling addiction's not giving me enough right now.
Yeah.
What if Ruth got a better bounty for killing her too?
Oh, I don't think Ruth needs any buffs.
She's not an animal.
Exactly, you're right.
I don't know. She feels like one on the battlefield, just saying.
If she weighs as much as a duck.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go.
If it squeals and attacks like a boar and chases me down like a Vil running from a boar, I think she might be considered an animal.
About 75.
So at this point, give boars AoE damage, please.
Dude, let's do it.
Oh, no.
That was completely a joke. I do not want AoE damage from boars. Let's okay. We got to get to a break here soon, but I want to talk about Japanese and Jushis just a little bit. Order the Dragon just really sucks right now. We can go over them some other time. Order the Dragon. I wanted them to be cool. They're really tough. Once you get to Castle Age before them, it's just over. Crossbows just shred them.
We all thought they're going to be insane, like OP. I guess on paper
their eco is too slow. If you could ever get to a max pop with them, they're dangerous. But I think though, honestly, real quick, I think land snakes are the best thing they have going for them. Because the beefy tank extra health land snakes that in mass can just do AoE damage. Boom. That's a way to win. Other than that, their eco struggles so hard.
Spearman archers.
They're
Spearmen do 50 damage to cavalry per hit.
Yeah.
50.
Yeah, but if you go against a civ like English that can pop out men at arms, you're going to be
Your horsemen
struggling.
are pretty beefy too, though.
Yeah,
I feel like
they
they
are.
might be like a feudal civ is kind of what I was
They are,
looking
but
for.
if you get beat by someone who castles up really fast in time, you're just going to, once the crossbows start coming out, you're going to be struggling.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I want to talk about Japanese a little bit. Or go ahead, Beal. Go ahead.
Sorry, just throwing one thing out. Not really helping my case against playing the most broken civ, but I was looking at AoE4 World. I was looking at the Jean's champions, like Askallad was saying, and I'm looking at level 4 Joan of Arc, the one that she can choose to summon the cannons. She can benefit from both royal bloodlines and siege work.
Yeah, it's amazing. She has like 700 health.
Yeah,
That's objectively hilarious.
That is
10
ridiculous.
armor from siege works.
Oh my gosh.
And she has 66% less range damage taken.
That's so funny.
That is insane.
She's just
For any armor. It's amazing.
Abrams.
Yeah,
she needs to be
Bill.
nerfed.
I
I'm
think
sorry.
Bill, we're getting on sock. I think you're the real villain on the podcast.
So she has a siege attack
one more die. And Beal over there just like living like a king.
Yeah, exactly, Bill. I don't know. Bill's real quiet on that AUB conversation. You know, I'm realizing. You know what? No, you were. I'm just playing, dude.
I mean,
You're doing your
you
thing.
flip a coin. If it comes up heads, you win. If it comes up tails.
Never mind.
Yeah,
It's not 700. It's 972 health. And she's on
my
God.
19
More.
ranged armor.
19 ranged armor before the range damage reduction.
Yeah, it's a good civilization. That's why I stay away from it because I don't play cheater civs. Sorry. I'm being real time. I'm just playing, guys. I'm just talking crap today.
He's just waiting for me to go off again. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, Sock is mad. Sock is mad. We got to see him get angry, guys.
I'm just trying to see that same energy. I want to see him literally just bring me in a private chat. Like, just, when you get a little out of hand.
I just feel like I'm a sleeping bear that Sir Neville's just got a long stick, poke, just trying to get me to roar.
I just want to see that same energy, man. I was enjoying it. When I tuned in, I heard you going off. I was like, this is what I'm trying to hear. Yeah, let's go. I'm sorry. I'm just a toxic person.
But even then, I don't feel like I was getting that uppity up.
No, you weren't bad. You were not bad at all. You were not bad at all.
They forgot my nuggets at McDonald's yesterday after I had to wait in drive-through. Okay, this is really.
Did you kill the guy?
I am usually really nice. I don't get usually really angry, but I went out with my kid. I was buying Christmas lights, setting things up. Went to McDonald's in the drive-through because I was like, just gonna grab some like nuggets and fries, go home. Just we'll eat crappy American food. We'll do it. They were like, okay, can you just go ahead and pull ahead in the parking lot right in front here? It's going to be a couple minutes for the nugs to finish. And I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of odd, but fine, whatever. They forgot about me. I sat there for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And I finally went in and said, hey, where's my food? I didn't even grab it. And when they asked me if I wanted a receipt when I paid for my food, I said no. Because I didn't think in my wildest dreams that I would need to prove I bought food because I was in line at the drive-thru and I was like, nah, I'm fine. I don't need a receipt, whatever. But I walk in and go, hey, where's my food? I don't have a receipt because I didn't grab it, but like, where's my food at? And they're like, oh,
that's so liar.
And then they're like, oh, are you the one who got like the Happy Meal and the McRib and then like the nugs? I was like, yes, that's me. Please. Like, oh, here's the food. Sorry. I drive all the way home then to eat. They forgot my nuggets, dude. Can you imagine how angry I was? I just about lost it. I just stormed up my room and just like laid down and just I couldn't. I was so upset, guys. Anyways, I just don't get angry very often. And even I go on rants every now and then, but I don't usually get very angry. But man, I was
angry. Soccer is probably nuts. That'd be crazy.
Red hot angry sock is a very rare animal. Just want to say
that would be. I would probably
almost put a hole in the wall. But I'm super level headed. But I was like kicking stuff. I was so mad. I just because like I was in a great mood, but then it was like one thing after another. Like I just like, man, this is what I get for being the nice guy. Like I didn't go in. I didn't yell at them. I didn't double check that they got me the right stuff. I just assumed that they were trying their best, and then they still screwed me. I was so mad.
It would be so much better if you went up to the register and they're like, "Oh, we've heard that tale before. You didn't order nothing, sir. Get out of here."
Oh, dude, I would have been so mad. Actually, okay.
Yeah, we don't serve Peter Civs here.
I was at Subway a week ago. This week, I was at Subway meeting the wife for lunch. She ordered online. We just had to pick it up, and they didn't have the drinks, so we just grabbed the drinks. And then the guy's like, "Oh, can you pay for those first?" I was like, "I already did. It's on the receipt right here, like with the food. Like, I just need to grab the drinks. Like, we already paid for it." He kept giving us weird looks the entire time. As we're walking out, he went through the trash and pulled up the bag with the receipt on it to check it. Kid you not. And I was just
That's
like,
so
dude,
funny.
like,
Was he a manager?
must have been.
Yeah,
But I was like, what a jerk. Like, I'm not here to rob you. I got two kids. Like, I'm not going to rob you $4 of soda. I promise you. So, you know, you guys know me. I'm a pretty integritous person. Like, I've got quite a bit of integrity. I'm like, I can't lie. I just can't. So to have someone assume that, man, I was up in arms. I was like, come on.
I thought you'd be a man of integrity, so I saw you playing Bizarre Wing.
Oh my gosh! Oh my god! Sir Devils.
So you know, I'm saying you've been to balance.
All right. I'm sorry. I just couldn't help myself. Okay, I'm done.
Let's talk about Japanese and Jushi's legacy real quick, and then we'll take a break. It's been 2 hours. We got to get on this. We're running out of time. Japanese. The 2TC build is really interesting. Shinobi are really fun. They also have an okay fast castle. Anyone else have any thoughts on Japanese besides that the Ozutsu are freaking awesome in Imperial Age?
Man, I saw videos.
I love Japan.
Ozutsu, like in real life, those are like hand cannons. Like those are insane.
Yeah, they're carrying around an actual cannon. That's How do they hit anything?
Dude, I'm not.
Doesn't matter. It's an intimidation thing, I think.
I think all three strats are pretty good with Japan. I think Japan is, listen, that's a Civ I played the most this season, and I'm loving it. I mean, the 2TC strat I haven't got down yet, but okay, like I know we're running late, so I'm going to make it really quick. But really, with the fast castle build, I think, even though I always make fun of fast castle builds, but like fast castle, I think is pretty decent with Japan, because if you use the floating gatehouse and you build your production right next to it, and those the Yorishiro spawns out, you can just, like, as you're building, like the moment you go up the castle age, you just make, like, maybe save some wood up, get the what is their religious building, the Shinto shrine. Get the Shinto shrine,
floating gate.
So like what you do, you get the production building in front of the floating gate. The moment, say you want to go in the night, to put 2 stables or 3 stables in front of the floating gate. The moment the Yorishiro spawns out, you just literally take it all, just put them all in the stables right in front of the floating gate. And then with that Shinto shrine, you send out that Shinto priest immediately to start collecting relics. And it's actually kind of smooth. Like, I forgot who I heard it from. It's not original. I heard some, I'm not that smart, but I heard, like, it's actually pretty good for a castle build with the Japanese. Literally build, like, how many spawn? I think, 2 Shinto?
You spawn with 2 Yorishiro.
2 Yorishiro spawn, and you get 1 Shinto priest.
Yeah, and
Yorishiro. Okay, I'll remember.
Yeah, Yorishiro. Yeah, but like, and just you could do. Obviously, you put it inside your mining camp and just get the passive gold or passive wood or for your TC. But if you want to like go into like a more efficient military production, you literally build. You go to castles with that intention. Build whatever production you're trying to go into right outside the floating gate. The moment they spawn, you could literally get Yorishiro in all 3 of those production buildings like immediately. And then you're obviously clearly going to have your Shinto priest just sitting there. But then since you've planned for it, you immediately get a Shinto shrine. So the moment he puts those Yorishiro into the production building,
it's like
Yorishiro. You put them in your production building. You immediately send out your Shinto priest and start collecting relics. And then the moment the Shinto priest is busy for a minute, just getting all the relics, shift queue them, and you'll pretty much have production out in the field. You'll have mounted samurai harassing in castle while you're collecting relics in the background, while you already have your Yorishiro fully garrisoned or whatever you need. It's a pretty nice build. So I think Askallad is not bad. Obviously, the Daimyo Manor, if you want to go one TC and just go Daimyo Manor and basically make farms around your TC, which has been my favorite play style, and kind of go for a more passive 2-second TC play. It's very good for feudal age because you can just pretty much dominate the field with infantry, which infantry with the samurai and the I can't think, what's the one unit that's really fast? Oh man, you just harass the honorable geisha and just kind of like go through that with the Daimyo Manor, get out of Bannerman. And like you said, Sak, I realized you said Bannerman don't stack. If you kind of get a couple out there, they just kind of like insurance. Like once one dies, you got another one to kind of get it. So they don't stack, but it does kind of keep the flow going. So that's also a play style. I love Japanese. I could talk about it for a minute, and they're great on hybrid maps. So then that's where the
Shinobi are crazy.
That's gonna go crazy, and that's when the Cocoa Township comes into play. Because, like I said, you literally, if you go for a faster feudal age, you can completely stall out your enemy's production. Like you age up the same time as your enemy into feudal age. If you're on water, you send out a samurai to stall the production of their docks. Which, it also stalls out their food, but also it makes you get a military ship out quicker. And you just got that edge of getting a military ship out. So basically, their age up is stalled by another 30 seconds because you have the Yoroshido out there. Not Yarm, that's not Yoroshido, excuse me, Shinobi out there stalling out. Like, it's just Japanese to me is actually, and Byzantine, I can go on that too, but Japanese is easier to learn. I think it fit more into the meta of the game. I think it's like, for example, Byzantine has the lowest win rate. I think almost record out of any civilization in the game, almost 39% win rate. But while Japanese has a 50%, Japanese is fit into the meta pretty well.
Japanese feels pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, and you could try a bunch of different strategies.
Except on hybrid man. Like
they have a lot higher win rate.
Fishing ships on hybrid allows you to have all that wood to make as many like naval ships as you want as soon as you get feudal, or it allows you to have vills on different resources as you age up.
Nice feudal age timing. Wow, not having that much on wood.
Yeah. What do we think about? Because I think the longest time, Rus, HRE, English. I think I'm missing another civ that's really good at water. China are really good at water. I think English is like kind of a fourth.
HRE.
Yeah. So I would say Rus, HRE, China, English were kind of the top four. I think in that order. Where would you put Japanese? Because I think they're up there. I think they belong in a spot up there. I don't know if I want to say they're number one.
Depends on what kind of water map we're talking. Is it one body or is it a hybrid with like fishing in several ponds?
Yeah, I agree with Askallad. I think if it's mainly water, I think Japanese is probably middle tier.
If it's one body, I don't think Japan is extremely good because you concentrate your docks at one point. Yes, you can probably not stop all the sabotages, but you can stop sabotages against the Shinobi. And
like
there are civs that can beat Japan on water quite easily.
Yeah, okay. But like on like a 4 lakes.
For example, this cheater civ called the Ibit that will just age up at the 4-minute mark easily or before that and get their first warship out.
We want to talk about fast upgrades here.
Let me ask a question in context. So are they good on water just because they can paralyze the buildings, or are they actually good on water for other?
They've also got the cheaper ships, so they can save. Their economy can be more balanced.
It's more worth for them to go water because of the ships, because of the cost, and they can.
Okay, I was going to say because I don't know if that makes them good on water or just good at stopping water.
They don't have any particular bonuses as water navy that I could point to, but having the ability to on land disrupt things and the cheaper fishing ships lets you save wood for the eventual production. They're definitely. I wouldn't say they're the best on water, but I would say they definitely belong in the top. I guess now 5. Is what we'd say the top 5.
Yeah, they have a niche. They have a niche, that's for sure.
Tell you the truth, I think another good water civ that's up there. I mean, I don't know where to place them, but I think Byzantines are good on water too. The fact that you can get olive oil from water, that's
well, you can just get it from shorefish, though, right?
Yeah, shorefish. But I believe with the dots, I don't know if the gather rate. I think you might same thing as like gathering food. And actually, don't quote me that, but I believe that, for example, when you return with the ship, you have a higher gather rate than with the villagers. So I believe you get more olive oil from ships than just gathering from shoreline. But I could be wrong. I never actually did crunch numbers on it, but I think Byzantine, like I said, I think Byzantine is very, like, we're not talking about that, but there's not as figured out. But like they, if you go for a military build, you control water. That not military, mercenary build, you control water with all that. You control water, you can get olive oil out the butt, and then you can just start cachet out the wazoo or whatever you need, and just go down that route. So, like, honestly, I think water, I mean, that's probably something that could be actually highlighted as like a tier list based off water, because a lot of civilizations with 8 new civs at it, well, no, my fault, excuse me, 6 new civs, that's something that needs to be looked at more. Because
the thing about water is it really is about feudal timing. And can you get a navy in their face before they can defend?
And Japanese really can do that almost better than anyone.
Most definitely. Especially on
we've been kind of dancing around this. We haven't talked about their farmhouse landmark.
Oh yeah. That's amazing.
A little cracked.
See, some people don't believe that.
One too many things. You just need to remove one of the things it does.
So it's a full drop-off building for everything.
Why does it garrison? Is my question.
It has garrison slots. 8
yeah, that might be weird.
It's garrison, but it doesn't shoot any arrows, so it's just like a glorified village. Yeah,
I'll take a glorified village for free.
With more HP than a village, like I can't kill those villagers if they're in the house.
It definitely leans into the defensive nature of it. My one thing is, why does it have the upgrades in it? Like, that doesn't seem necessary. I think leave it as the village with the free wood and farms. Just get rid of the upgrade abilities, because you're going to already be building houses and stuff everywhere else. I think that's one thing more than it needs.
Yeah, I think Japanese.
No, I don't think that affects anything.
It's just a mill.
It's like a super
mill.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a town center without producing.
Is it universal drop off?
It's a universal drop off.
It generates
I did not know that.
around it.
And it generates farms, which amounts to 166 wood per minute.
Yeah, and then it generates passive wood after it fills the surrounding perimeter with farms.
Guys, please don't call out how this is kind of broken, because I love this.
Well, hold on. No. My math is wrong. Wait. It's 100. It's 100.
I need you guys to No, listen, guys.
It's just this landmark. I don't think they're overtuned, but the landmark
is strong. This landmark is strong, I will admit.
The funny thing is, when you play with it, it doesn't feel like it gives you like massive amounts of tempo. It's just really nice to have. Like, you don't think about it.
Do you have any food problems playing Japan ever?
No, I've never had. It's
no, really nice. You don't.
Gold is always the hard part. Gold and wood is always the hard part.
Honestly, and I think why Japanese people are kind of like it's kind of up there. Like, is it too OP? Because it's such a streamlined civ. It's such a streamlined. You can literally, like, for example, you build the Kira storehouse. You build it within range of your TC, get those free farms, and then go daimyo manor. And those farms now become stronger by being near your TC. Like, it's such, and like the fact that, houses are also, you get a farmhouse. So it's like a mill and a house at the same time. The forge is a blacksmith and a mine. Like, it's such a streamlined civ that is it 1-star or 2-star? It's almost like a 1-star civ.
I think it's a 2-star.
Which I feel like
we're going to talk. One of our
wheelbarrow
talking about that.
Parts as well is pretty nuts.
The wheelbarrow tech is really cool.
Their wheelbarrow. They have like 4 levels of wheelbarrow.
It's like 3 levels of wheelbarrow. It ends up being a bit better than regular wheelbarrow. It's interesting how, like, the first step is not full wheelbarrow. You kind of got to work your way up. It's interesting. It's really interesting.
I don't think they're overpowered. I might have like earlier on in the season, because their feudal infantry push is so powerful.
It was pretty good.
But the counter to that is just make archers. Every time, like, I was playing against Japan earlier today as Jean, and I built School of Cavalry and then 5 archery ranges. And it was like, that's what you need to do to win. That's how you deal with the Japanese.
And then I hit level 3 Jenny, and somehow he just tapped out. I don't know, guys.
Level 3 and I spawned champions behind a wall. But no,
you know what I love,
actually,
though?
Can I just say that Ayubids in the Japanese is a really tough matchup for Ayubids, because the samurai can just eat up the gulams, and the Onibagesha with the fast attack speed. The fast gulam rush does not work very well. I've struggled. That's a matchup I think that is favored to Japanese, if I can say so. That one's tough.
Yeah,
You realize there's
imagine.
other units than Ghulams.
No, there's not.
Okay. Now you can slash Abbasid. Then what other strategy are you using?
It's so
What's a
funny though,
camel?
because like Japan, like the all in kind of TC rush of Japan is like it's so I love it. I think it's so great playing at Japan. People try to like all in ram rush you because that daimyo manner makes the TC so strong, and they lose so many units trying to just take out your TC to start. So like that's one of my least favorite strats in the game is getting that's probably why I like Japan because I hate getting ram rush early, and it's not if you have an even level 1 daimyo manner, like it's very hard to take down that TC
So now
with a bunch of rams.
You hate the fast castle being played against you. You also hate the all-in ram rush against you. You just want your opponent to multi-TC eco boom all day? Is that the only thing that's acceptable?
that is all acceptable. Yes,
I think we talked about this last time. We're both on every aspect of like the trinity of feudal strats and AoE. Like I'm the feudal aggressor. Sir Neville's is the multi-TC eco guy, and Soccerton is fast castle.
100%.
He's playing HRE and Ayubids with Ghulam. Yeah.
We are the 3 pillars of AoE. That's why we are divinely brought together to make this channel. That's why we were brought together.
I need some like angelic music to play.
Exactly. This is the reason why we found each other.
And Askallad does random all the time, so he's like the exact opposite. He's chaos.
He's the maverick. What does that make you?
Sorry, I enjoy chaos. But I also enjoy playing Japanese.
I'm just the guy watching.
Wait, who's the weeb now, Askallad?
Okay, I'll say this. I have played Japanese a total of I played them once in solos, just once, and I lost because I didn't know the matchup. Now I know the matchup, but maybe I'll still lose. I don't know. But I played them a lot in team games, and it's so fun.
They're great.
Because you're just playing Zerg. You're just playing Zerg. Maslings, let's go.
I love it. What's their ultra?
They're the best voice line. They're the best voice line.
And they have the best voice line.
That's the samurai.
Yes.
But can we all agree that it is extremely fun to play Japanese, and that is why there is over 90,000 Japanese games played against the second
I kept getting mirror matches. That's my least.
That is true.
My only
Everyone
problem is I
loves
hate
Japan.
a mirror match like that. I don't like that mirror match very much, and I just kept getting mirror match after mirror match. I was like, you know what? I hate to say it, I need to move on to something else, and that was part of the reason I went to Ayubids is I wasn't facing that one.
Oh, play Order of the Dragon. Never get a mirror match. No one plays
I'll
that.
never win again either, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. You want a mirror match? Play Order of the Dragon. You're good.
Actually,
Eventually he's going to hit silver and meet up with dragons.
Japanese is really good. I think I said that already, but HRE into Japanese is crazy good because the fast castle is just way too fast for them to do anything to you.
Yeah.
Okay, Jushi's Legacy, real quick, then we'll go to a break. We're going to have Beal's going to have to dip out halfway through here.
Yeah.
All good.
Juicy's Legacy.
Amazing.
I feel like this is a Civ that for some reason should be more dominant than it is because it's just incredible what it can do with the passive generation landmark they have, plus the cheaper age ups. I'm surprised they don't just rush up to castle and just flood you more with more stuff because they can get up to castle at 5.5, 6 minutes. It's insane how fast they can go if they have no pressure early.
What's holding them back is going up to fast castle because, you just die to people that aggress you.
Right. Yeah. I remember the first game I played against Zushi's Legacy and seeing the castle age notification at 5.5 to 6 minutes and just being like, oh my God, what do I do? And then just 2 Royal Knights is oh, you don't have units because you fast castled like this.
There's a monk. Hey, he has a quarterstaff. He's doing a ton of damage, but I have 2 knights.
Is so strong.
I have 2 knights, so I'm just going to
monks are strong.
Run that guy over and cause some ruckus near your meditation gardens.
I've only had one game where my opponent went mass Shaolin monks. I won it after going Imperial, and it was nuts. It was an absolutely disgusting, filthy game. I was playing Japanese. I wanted to kill myself at the end. It was horrible. It was just such a slog. He just went mass Shaolin monks. And that's the only time I've seen that. I think it doesn't work as well as people would think. I don't know why is this Civ not more dominant than it is? Is it just because that John Dark is just way too good, or what's the deal here?
I mean, it's still it's still good though. I mean, it still has a winning record. It's it's top 3, I believe. What, 3 or 4? It's still really good. I mean, a lot of pro players have banned it in the tournaments. I think Jushi is just I guess it's just not as strong as John Dark and the Ubits, but Juicy is still like, I mean, that's the first one they kind of labeled as kind of being OP.
Right? We've heard this word a lot today already, but I feel like being streamlined is what you would call what the Zushi are right now. Okay, no, it's Zushi. I think you need to speak it softly. Zushi?
Sushi, yeah.
Okay, yeah, but they're extremely streamlined. Their Tang Dynasty gives you the cheaper H-up. That means you can either get super fast Castle or you can get super fast Song. Then the Song Dynasty gets you the cheaper TC, so you can TC boom easily. And their feudal landmark, their Jianjing Tower, or whatever it's called, the tower anyway.
Gives you free units.
Gives you the free units for production building, which solves also your not having enough production problem, if that is a problem for you, like it is for me. And it also gives you an insane attack timing if you don't go for Song and just go for the tower. And then let's talk about that meditation garden that is RPG dependent and in some spawns gives you 200 resources per minute for free.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of. I'm definitely not a huge fan of excessive passive income. I don't really mind like the Yoroshiru because you have to get to Castle Age before that kicks in at all. And then you have to choose where you want it to go. So they might not put it in a passive income spot. They might put it in like a production building instead to increase the speed. So I don't hate the Yoroshiros. The Yoroshiros are very, very powerful, but I don't hate them as much as I hate like the meditation garden.
How many Buddhism temple have you seen?
Like none.
Okay, I rest my case on the Yoroshiro.
That's true.
That's true.
Then again, I mean, to be fair, how many Burgraves do you see on not water maps?
A lot, because Burgrave is an actual good landmark that gives you another win condition. What does the Buddhism temple give you?
How many Abia Kings do we see? How many mine works do we really see outside of Ode of the Dragon? I mean, I think most Civs. I mean, how many like commerce wings are there? Or what is it? What is a trade wing? What is it? What is it?
You don't see Chamber of Commerce anymore because it's bugged for Jenny and nobody's playing regular French anymore.
Well, yeah. But even before, I mean, certain landmarks just have always been better than others. I don't think that means it's just overpowered. It just means the other one just isn't good enough, essentially. I feel like there's more to it. I would
wager the number of Buddhism temples is less than 5% of games.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I'm not going to say no to that. I don't know.
I'd say Chamber of Commerce is an actual like winning condition that is played at like 15 to 20% possibly.
I do want to throw this out about Zushi's legacy. Why they're a great Civ? Because China is the least played Civ since season 5. Because why would you play China when you play?
On that, Beal, why would it? I wonder what French is at right now. Because why would anyone play French when you can play Joan of Arc?
French is still very good.
Yeah, French is still good, and like
I like French.
So Zushi makes China easier. Jean does make French a little more micro intensive.
That's fair.
Dude, I suck with John, dude. I don't know how you guys are good with it. I can't do it. My brain doesn't work for it.
But I'm just so happy to not see a Barbican in the past month.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, that is true, man. I prefer Jushi over China. I like playing them more. You know, they probably are stronger. And actually, Jushi is actually one of the higher win rates in the game, and they only have a losing win rate to 2 civilizations. You like to guess?
Ayubids and Joan of Arc.
Oh yeah, so really Jushi really is good. Yeah, that's crazy. They're actually really good.
Sample size. Don't use this. Don't
exactly. Exactly. There you go. But I think Jushi's actually doing fine. They're doing pretty good.
Their Zugnu all-in rush can be devastating if they get going just in time.
I did play Zushi once, and not being a China main, not really know how China goes. It was just like, oh yeah, why don't I just build nothing but Zugnus? And
hey, did it work?
I lost because eventually I almost won. I almost rammed down their PC.
Here's your issue. You made rams. Just make more Zoogs.
I kept committing to Zoogs, and then they built horsemen. And I should have just been like, maybe add a feudal palace guard to the mix.
Didn't have enough Zoogs.
Yeah. Not enough.
www.morezoogs.com.
I'm gonna mention that actually because Socrates over here trying to downplay the French when our sponsor is all about knights. I'm not.
And knight adjacent units. That was the last week's episode. Was a knight adjacent unit.
Knight adjacent unit.
Camel love too.
Yeah,
By the way, I have a confession to make about cheating Civs. I lost 4 solo games in a row after actually playing solos for the first time this season, and I only won because I random Drews.
Oh,
Roos
Roos is flying
really
under the
good.
radar.
And I made knights.
Roos has been good for so long. Roos is still a top tier Civ as far as strength.
very good.
Like they have been
Kremlin
good for
is still
so long. Yeah, Roos is still. I see Roos and I'm like, geez. Like I just know it's going to be a tough day. Well, it's any Civ that has really strong feudal presence is going to do really, really good right now. And I think all the Civs we mentioned all have and can have a good feudal presence.
Yeah.
But any Civ that doesn't
like,
is
what's
going to struggle.
feudal age? Is that the part where I age up to castle?
Yeah, that's the half minute I am in from Dark Age where I go to Castle Age.
I mean, I think the bigger question is, right. Honestly, the biggest question I've been having so far after the season release is like, what can they do to make Byzantines more viable? Because, we mentioned that, like, oh yeah, of course we make a DLC. You want the new Civs to be really strong, and this is like a whole new brand new Civ, and it's like almost at a what is the record losing rate? Like some matchups, like Byzantine have a 35% win rate against Joan of Arc and Ayubids.
Do we want to talk about that now or after the break?
No, exactly.
That's we're going basically to Reddit posts, but I
just want to throw this out there.
That's something else. That's a whole other conversation. Probably
I don't think they need a buff quite yet. I think that they're very much in the experimental phase where people are trying to make it work. Because I feel like there's so much potential in the Byzantines. It just hasn't been unlocked yet.
I agree.
Yeah, it just seems way more complicated than most of the others as far as
they are.
And they're going against Joan of Arc, Ayubids, Zushis almost all the time, and Japanese, which is another really good Civ all the time. So
yeah. And reading up on them, it just seems like there's no clear direction to take versus everybody else that has like a really not really straightforward, but more or less I get what this is about.
I feel like there is a direction, but should I talk about it now?
Just go ahead. We got a minute.
Okay. So I think Byzantines they're still in the experimental phase somewhat, but I feel like there is essentially 2 play styles that you can make work or that have established themselves. There's the fast castle gulp. It's not super good, but it wins you games against people who don't expect it and people who take too long in feudal and don't apply pressure to you. And then you're just going to have immortal cataphracts running down their feudal army, and they're dead.
That's pretty good.
Which is pretty fun, to be fair. It's actually fun. But I'm not a fast castle enjoyer. I don't like being forced into that play style, so I don't enjoy playing against Jenny. But the other thing is, I feel like Byzantines, they want to play extended feudal age because all of their bonuses are not immediate. They're time-based, and you need to actually you have the tools to stick around in feudal age against most things.
Yeah,
and there is no fast age up really in that planning phase. So you have your cistern boom, takes a ton of stone.
Yes.
Gives you really good benefits after it ramps up. Gives you the faster production, gives you the option to go for very fast tech. If you age up after your opponent, you can actually catch up in tech very fast, which is nice. I feel like that is the intention, that you stick around to Cistern Boom and then you hit Castle Age after them, very likely. And then you switch over to the, what's the word? I forgot what the research buff is, and then you research these over 1 minute techs in 12 seconds. Which is amazing.
Yeah. Do you think one of the biggest problems with the Byzantines right now is that it's almost too many avenues you can go down?
There's definitely a lot of games being played because people play them and think to themselves, well, I can do all of these things. Let's try them all at once. And that is always how you lose a game in AoE. You just don't commit to one play style and you die.
Yeah, I gotta say, Byzantines doesn't feel like a Civ that is bad. I don't feel like when I play them, I don't feel like it's like Order of the Dragon where I know besides their tanking units, they don't have a lot going behind.
Bad.
I'm gonna scream.
Okay.
I keep hearing you guys talk about Order of the Dragon so poorly, and I just want to like them so bad.
I'm with you, Caleb. I'm a big HRE guy. The fact of the matter is that just They're
Don't you say it again, I swear.
they are not
weird.
good enough.
They feel weird to play. Your macro, all your decision making is off because all of the pricing of the units is different.
Oh
And you
man,
feel
it's
like
different.
you're
I have to
walking
learn
through
something new,
molasses
heaven
and-
forbid.
You go do it, Caleb.
Now
Prove
you
them
sound
wrong.
like top players. I am going to.
Please.
If I ever get time to do it, I
Prove
will.
them wrong. I'd love to see them be really good. The problem is,
That'd be great.
you lose a villager. Like,
Me-
if you lose a villager, you're losing like 3. It's just like every loss you
Yeah.
take is so compounded,
But-
and your gains don't feel very big.
But you have like prelate-inspired villagers out of prelates. So like, go get the boar, chill out. I don't know, man. It's,
It just
It's-
you're not
It
getting enough of
might
them
be
though.
viable.
You're getting less of them though. It's just a matter that it nerfs. They're super buffed, but then it nerfs itself back to the ground level by not having enough of them. So you're just kind of like, well, where's my advantage at?
Listen,
Like,
I never build villagers anyway, so it's
Oh,
like
wow.
great.
There you go.
Okay,
There you
you
go.
have found the perfect Civ.
all right, well, we
Let's
gotta go to
move
break.
into the break on
Yep,
this.
yep. Beal's
Yeah,
gotta head
exactly.
out.
Yeah, exactly.
We thank Beal for his service here today, defending his horrible cheating Civ. We'll take a break. We'll be right back after this, guys.
It's fine, Camel Boy.
Shots fired.
This is your captain speaking. We've just hit our cruising altitude of 10,000 feet, so you are now free to move about the cabin, though we ask you keep your seatbelt on in case we encounter any unexpected turbulence. It should be pretty smooth flying for the next few hours, so sit back, relax, enjoy the blue skies. It's now safe to use your electronic devices as well, and I'd like to remind you that here on Jeanne d'Arc Airlines, we offer complimentary Wi-Fi. Now that we're on autopilot, I myself will be cracking out my own laptop and playing some Age of Empires 4. If anyone else aboard wants to know a good tip on how to play that game, it's super easy. Just build a stable, select it, spam that W key, and then get a bunch of knights. Go and raid your opponent until they surrender. Seriously, super easy. So again, sit back, relax, enjoy the blue skies, and play some AoE, and the flight attendants will be around very shortly to offer our complimentary beverages and Biscoff cookies, brought to you, of course, for free by our good friends at www.morenights.com. Until then, we have a few hours till we land, so have an enjoyable flight.
And we're back. We are excusing Beal for the rest of the episode. He has a life and has to go do things. And we've already gone on for like 2 hours. I did the smart thing and stopped the recording and have restarted a new audio file this time. So we don't have the debacle of last episode where we went on for so long that my computer just about like lit on fire. Anyways, we've got some Reddit posts. So we still got Askallad, Caleb, and Sir Neville's, of course, with us. Everyone's still doing good. You guys enjoy your little water break?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's very enjoyable.
Did you guys,
Fine.
like little kindergartners in your little line towards the cafeteria?
Yeah, it was good. It
Who was
was
the line
good.
leader? Was it Caleb? I feel like he'd be the line leader.
Yeah,
Were
definitely.
you a good line leader, Caleb?
No, I was a bad one.
You weren't a good line leader. All right. First Reddit post. Reddit, where all great discussions happen, right?
Yeah.
What the hell's a line leader?
Line leader. So like in like kindergarten or first grade, you have to like walk to the cafeteria. They'd always have us like in a line, and then like line leaders just whoever the front of the line is. It's like
Oh, we had
absolutely
that when we
pointless.
walked down to the gym.
Yeah,
in sports class. That was
Yep. The weird arbitrary things we make kids go through to keep them from being unruly, like cats. That we have
and
to herd.
they could press on the traffic light button. It was a great honor.
It's stuff like that. Yep. Anyways, this post comes to you from Susemielian. What a
You
name.
didn't practice this.
I did not. No, I did not. I just went for it and I butchered it. Sorry. This was 15 hours ago. And the title says Border Settlements is the best tech in the game. It's a hyperbolic statement, but this tech is amazing. I've been spamming houses all around the map for huge vision. Houses can be rebuilt quickly at home if outer ones get destroyed. Wouldn't do this against Mongols, though. So for those who do not know, Border Settlements is unique to Byzantines, and it basically makes their houses outposts as far as vision goes. So,
It's a great tech and you should get it. It's dirt cheap. And if you're like me and you constantly miss your timings on getting your house up for like 3 or 4 seconds, that's 3 or 4 seconds idle time on your TC and all of your production. just build that house 400 or 500% faster. It's amazing.
Yeah, because they build faster, don't they? It's quite the tech.
Yeah, you build a house with one villager in 3 seconds.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that Byzantines is a bad civ. I think they just suffer from the great civs being played a lot, and that they are difficult to play. I think is the problem. I think the jury's still out on whether or not they are abjectly bad. You know, I don't think.
I think they'll catch on in due time. I
was ranting about that.
They need
You're
more
just slow.
figuring out. Yeah.
Yeah, just slow.
Playing from behind an age down is hard in this game, at least for the average Joe. Hi, that's me. And yeah.
Right. Yeah, Board Summons. I heard this is I heard this is actually really good. A lot of people were even before this tech was even being used, they would use houses for like a little bit of a like a sight advantage. I seen a couple players did it, like maybe like what do you call it, like a keep was a little bit out of range. They go and build a house really quick, so they get a little bit of sight, because a lot quicker and cheaper than a tower. But now they actually made it into a tech in the game, so that's dope. I haven't really utilized it, but
I've heard some people say they'll put like a little wall segment just for extra vision, and to save like really cheap extra vision. And I've always kind of thought, like, why not just like save a little bit of wood and just build the actual outpost? But I mean, to each their own. Everyone's got little things they do. I'm a big enthusiast of watching deer packs. For my little herring, not herrings. That's the wrong word. They're my what's the bird in the cage in the canary? They're the canaries in the gold mine, or the gold mine for me, or the coal mine. I cannot speak. I always love seeing the deer kind of do that little squawky thing when they run around when someone goes next to them, and I go, oh, enemy approaching my base right there. I see the deer running away in the shadows. That's my legal map hack.
Legal map hack. Yeah, that's
you're
pretty good.
saying you're scouting with foundations in the fog. Is that it, Mr. Cheetah Civ?
No, I'm watching the deer prance in fear of the enemy coming towards my base.
Of course, it's all deer movement.
No, officer, it's deer movement, I swear. Next post I've got is this actually is from Invictus. This is actually a nice post.
No,
it's all yours now. Bro.
Actually, this actually has 0 upvotes right now. This was 13 hours ago, and he does like to post on Reddit. I'll just read it and let you guys think what you think. I added this in because it said sheep, and you know me and sheep. Sheep spawns on new maps. Anyone else finding the sheep spawns on maps like Hidden Valley and Gorge a complete nightmare? Like on Hidden Valley, there's barely any sheep to begin with, and they spawn miles away. If you go the wrong way, your scout, it can basically be GG within first 5 minutes. That's a bit overboard, I think. Gorge is another offender where half the sheep can spawn on one side, making it about luck. I also disagree. There is a pattern to this, actually. I know the pattern for this one. Now you could argue just jump into Skirmish to memorize where they spawn, but the AI patterns is the weirdest locations in Skirmish on these maps. In general, I'm finding inconsistencies in map generation very frustrating. Golden Pit is another where I've had opponents gold spawn within 2 tiles of their TC, whilst oh, what a word, mine is a mile away. My initial reaction is that Hidden Valley is a nightmare, partly because of the bug that Bitterland told us about, where sheep are not supposed to spawn in the Hidden Valley, and they have been. So there should be like 1 or 2 more on the actual map. That said, there are not a lot of sheep on that map. You really gotta kind of if you come home with 5 sheep, you had a good scouting sesh. And that's just kind of how that map plays. But there are lots of deer packs and other things you can do.
Kind of balance it out a little bit.
I will say I had a game yesterday where I didn't get one on Dry Arabia of all things, where I didn't get a single sheep home to my town center, if you can believe it. I had the 3 at my base. Wow, I had the 3 that spawned under my base, like always, and I didn't get a single other one. Now, part of that is I had scouted 2 sheep and then stupidly ran it into my opponent's town center. So I should have had 2, but still 2 extra sheep on top of my base 3 at home. Like I had like none. It was so bad. I got completely steamrolled. So I understand like why not getting sheep can be kind of a GG feeling. I do feel that as a guy who when I get a lot of sheep, I'm cooking. Like I really love when I get like I'm always counting my sheep. Like, do I have an extra one or not? Like when I get the extra like 1, I've got 13 or 14 sheep. I am flying high. But on Gorge, I've always noticed you should go straight out, and then on one of the cliffs, there's 2 because they've got the cliffs around the sacred site in the middle. Always go towards that first, and usually like just check one of the sides on your side, like left or right. Like you just got to kind of arc around. You can usually grab 3 right there if you kind of go left and then right and then go up on one of the flanks or whatever. So definitely always go to the middle. Don't scout around on Gorge. Go straight to the middle and then turn. Is my advice for everyone. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Starting to notice a little bit of a pattern here. I'm not trying to be that guy, but I will. With this Invictus dude, he's big on bringing his grievances, legitimate or not, bringing them to Reddit. And
well, I don't in general, but
yeah, and that right there is like I noticed it too, like especially playing Gorge and Hidden Valley, like the sheep are extremely difficult to find, like, and it is very like a lackluster of sheep. They balance it out with the deer, like you said, but even still, nonetheless, it is hard finding sheep. But at the same time, like this is where I feel like as a community, you start creating echo chambers of negativity when you start going to Reddit to complain. Because you start just everybody's like,
Reddit's a cesspool of complaints from all levels.
Of course. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I've noticed, like, if you want to be that guy, go ahead and be that guy. That's fine. But at the same time is that, like, these type of complaints, there are forums. Like, there literally are, like, places where you can actually go and address these things and, address these to, like, something that may need to be looked at. Like you said, Barely said, there's a bug on the map. So, like, there are places where, like, these, obviously, you're not going to be on forums. Like, you don't want to go that deep, that's fine. But, like, anytime you want to make, like, a fluff or call it a discussion, I look at it as fluff. But just kind of, like, stating the obvious and being, like, kind of really, like, shining a light, like, oh, yeah, look how broken this is, too. And it's just like, yeah, listen, this is all new. Like, these maps are new to the rank pool. Like they're like, I don't think anybody expected. I think one of the biggest concerns when this DLC is launched that there's going to be some bug fixes, going to be some, balance issues, like what was kind of expected. So like when you spend your time highlighting all of them, it's like, like you're right. He's right. But at the same time, I just disagree with
the tone.
Bringing it to Reddit.
Tone that you don't like.
The tone and bringing it to Reddit. Like, and I know there's nothing I can do about it. I'm yelling at something that's going to be like that forever. But like I said, when you get a community, like you will spoil the perspective of the game when you start highlighting everything. Oh, look at all these
Actually, I saw a post. I saw a response to one of the posts about Joan of Arc. Like, Joan of Arc's broken, I hate her. And someone's like, I've been looking at getting back into the game, and I've seen just a lot of negative things about her. Is it that bad? And so it does affect some people who might be coming to the game. And I don't think it's that bad, but the rest of everything, this has been a positive expansion, like through and through. But I get what you're saying. Yeah. It's complaining on Reddit is a good way to just get yourself more angry. If you like being angry, complain on Reddit. I'm sure you'll find many.
And I should use Reddit more.
Did you miss all of the Rising Empire bait posts?
Dude, I love those. In fact, I
don't track this stuff anymore.
While I was trying to gather some posts, one of the top one was like this weird, like half-baked post that was complaining, but it was hard to understand what it was. And the first comment on it was, "Wait, is this not a Mukaru? Like, is this not our Rising Empire's like bait post? What is this?" Because it really was kind of
someone shit post. It's automatically like, where's the Rising Empire's?
I'll click the link. Hold on, yeah. That's funny.
I'm looking at Invictus' past post. He's a pretty negative person in the game.
I don't want to delve too much into that.
You're right. We're good.
We're good. Complain. It's okay. He's a fun streamer to watch. He's pretty good at the game. I enjoy watching him from time to time. I think he actually might want to join the show at some point too. So you better be watching what you say, Snubbles. We want people to be on.
Listen, boys.
I'm trying to avoid controversy here.
Can we please stop with the hate campaign against this one person that Soccer dislikes? Wow. Listen.
This is I'm from a community where you can't take it personal. It's nothing personal. I don't know he's a person. It's his business, you know what I'm saying? It might have caused me, I call it, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like if you're a sports fan and you like a team, I want to make fun of that team. I don't dislike you personally, but I'm going to make fun of your team. And it's like we're going to have a healthy debate about it, you know? And it's just like nothing. Listen, my hashtag no emotion, please. We're good.
No emotion.
As long as you caveat that, hey, I respect him as a person. I just think his views are trash and he should go away.
Just think his views are trash.
I've been coming at Hera since the moment he left the game.
Yeah,
like,
that dude, you give that dude a lot of flack.
Emotion.
He's earned some flack from the AoE4 community. Some guys really do trash the game, and he definitely has been one of those guys who's trashed the AoE4.
If you got him on your sock, I'd be the happiest person ever.
I'm gonna get like cease and desist from everybody. Like, please, Auction. Like, your show used to be so positive, and now it's just so angry.
We are
about
still
everything.
positive. We're still positive. Always. I'm always a positive man. Always positive.
Have we even watched the soccer since last stream? I don't
Find
know.
out if that is true.
All right, next post is given to us by user MACannock I don't know.
Good effort.
Can we just have username Bob be the guy posting these for once? He says rally points for docks. I use F1 for all military building and select rally point. In water maps, that selects my docks as well. How do I solve this? Should I select my docks and set my rally points after every F1 redirect? Should I reset rally points individually for barracks, archer, stables, sieges, or is there any other hockey workaround? Basically, the answer is yeah. If you do that, that's the problem. I actually have all military buttons on my buildings on my mouse as a button, and on water maps, I have to keep in mind if I do that, I'm going to be dragging my boats over too. So I got to be. That's why I put my docks on 0, and I sometimes have to re-rally stuff, and that's detrimental. So that's the problem with using all military buildings.
I think this is short and sweet. I think we just refer back to our previous conversation where we say there are some bad habits that people get. And I think this is one of the bad habits that someone needs to correct, even if not being able to press 1 and make it easy to control your military brings you down a few notches. You will be a higher peak later by not having to deal with this kind of stuff.
Here's how you fix that. Unbind that key. Unbind that key and use the direct control keys for your military production. It is currently my crutch as well because the mercenary building I have not currently bound, which I should do right now, actually.
Yeah, I use my crutch is I use
F1 because I cannot set my rally point for the mercs.
I have F1
and everybody has a crutch.
Mouse,
it's just
the
solution is. The solution is learn to walk without your crutches. That's the solution.
Or just accept that you're going to limp. It's like you got to.
Exactly.
I've accepted that. On water maps, I have to be careful when I'm using. I start actually putting on. I break my comfortable habit and do something different. I just accept I'm not going to be as streamlined with that, and I just got to keep that in mind. Usually, it doesn't irk me too much. I'm not a high enough level player. That's my key bindings are going to throw me under the bus more than my strategy will.
This next one's my favorite because we don't even have to answer it.
I'm looking at the next one too.
Is it the rally? Wait, no, it's not. I just looked at this. It's the what is this? Oh yeah, this one. This is a meme. I thought it was really funny. It's pretty good. It's the WWE guy. When he's doing the interview, and he just is in tears and he's waving to cut off the camera and he just doesn't say anything. And it's them. You play AoE 4 or 5 times a week. You must be conqueror. Me, and it's him just been in tears. Nope, just cut the film. In tears. It's so great. I feel that. I feel it in my bones. I learned this. Let me tell a story from my youth. I was a cross country runner in high school. I could run a mile at 5 minutes and 10 seconds. Was lightning fast, but that's not fast enough when you live in Utah at 5,000 feet of elevation, where everyone else is a skinny white guy who can do it just as fast as you or better. And I learned something. There was this freshman. I was a junior and I was a senior. I was a senior when he came in. He was a freshman. And this kid was 5'2", short little thing. I'm pushing 6 foot, 5'11" or so. I feel 5'11" and a half. So I'm between there and 6 foot, depending on what shoes I wear. And so I've got longer legs than this kid. And this kid just had the God-given gift to run fast. I just could never. I mean, I worked hard. I ran every day. And this kid was just faster. And I just was sometimes I'm just built different, I guess. I just can't go as fast as he can for as long as he can do it. And I just can't. And I realized I'm not going to be an Olympian. I had to come to terms with that. Some of us we're just at capacity,
Yeah. Happens to the best of us.
Happens to the best of us.
Nothing wrong with it, man. I always had dreams of being in the NBA, and then I realized, oh man, my finger roll isn't as smooth as the man next to me. I think it's time to just start playing Call of Duty or something, dude. It happens to the best of us, man. Let's find something else.
Yep. Well, that was depressing. Moving on.
We all came to that realization. We're
realizing that we're all insignificant and no one's going to ever mean anything. I like this next question. Actually, I really like. Kudos to, I'm going to say this correctly, Ragnarok 628 4 days ago. Which civs are mislabeled in terms of difficulty? I love this question because he says, example given, HRE is as a 2-star civ in the game, but it really, no offense, Caleb, it seems kind of like a 1-star. Are there other civs that are easier or harder than indicated in game?
Yeah, HRE is a 3-star civ. Duh.
It's great. It's great. Because like English is definitely a 1-star, right? French is 1-star, but I feel like French can almost be 2 if you're really managing your knights the right way. It's kind of hard. That's a lot of micro. Where do they qualify the ratings for?
That's what I was going to say. I think it depends on where you're putting the ratings, and I don't think the ratings are ever based on micro. Because if it was, French would not be a 1-star civ, and HRE would not be a 2-star civ, because there's no micro in HRE and there's a ton of micro in French. Mm-hmm. It's based off of macro knowledge. So like with the HRE, it's hard to have to then plan out going to get the relics on top of keeping your economy, on top of building units, as opposed to the French who don't have that extra thing to worry about, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's where a lot of it comes from, is there isn't a lot of macro involved on certain ones, and there's more macro things involved in others. That's why China is a 3-star, because they have a ton going on to keep their economy and things going. So I think that's where these stars are coming from. So I think there could be some argument for some of them, but overall, I feel they're pretty good. Assuming they're basing it off of macro, which feels the most right, based off of what they do have them labeled as.
Do you think Malian should be 3 stars?
Are they 3-star?
Yeah, Malians are 3 stars.
Interesting. I think maybe they changed. I feel like maybe they changed the way they rate stuff when they made the Malians.
I feel like
Malian might maybe 2.
They play very different than the other civs, but like it's genuinely not hard to learn a build order, and after that, like
it's a 2.
Fairly straightforward.
It's a 2.
I feel like most civs are 2-star civs, right? I mean, what is Ayubid's at? 2? Or is Abbasid a 2 as well? I feel like that's a 2-star, right?
Yeah, I think Ayubid's.
I think Delhi would be a 3.
I think Delhi and China are solid 3s.
Yeah, I agree.
Byzantines is probably a 3.
Yep.
Most definitely. Mongols are 3.
Mongols is a 3.
Be a high 2.
Yeah, Mongols is a 3. High 2, probably a 3. If
Mongols,
that's where we're going to kind of make it. Yeah, I mean they have a lot.
You don't have to worry about houses. You don't have to worry about building houses. You don't have to worry about a couple of things.
I think the way he explained it was actually pretty good. Like this, like they kind of AOE kind of judges the game based off like macro rather than micro. In the Mongols, like based on like how it's kind of like you kind of depend on your spawn. You kind of got to go based on the map layout. Like I think Mongols, like once you learn them, you don't feel as if like a 3-star civ, but like initially pulling them up,
3-star civ once you learn them.
Yeah.
I guess you're right.
I tried Delhi.
Delhi.
Well,
that turns into micro though too. That turns into micro. I mean, that turns into micro. My thing is like, it can't be just all about macro, because French is a lot harder than just, I mean, their macro is easy, but the micro is super more difficult and intense, where you got to keep
then you're arguing that their rating system is wrong, and that's a different topic for Reddit.
I mean, I feel like there's a discussion to be had here, like this game is not based, I mean, you don't win a game solely because of macro. It's mostly.
Have you talked to this guy named Jeremy?
Hey, that's fair.
I would say more macro over micro.
It is more macro over micro, but micro is a part about it, right? If for instance, I could have I lost to this was a really frustrating game going against Joan of Arc as Japanese on Himanyama, and they aged up into Himanyama. They put a red palace on my face, and I played the same guy on the same map 2 times in a row. He did the same strat. This time I was ready for it. First time I didn't have a way to stop it. I couldn't ram it down. Second time I was going to do Trebs and build a bunch of Springolds and keep it ready and take down his final landmark. And I look away for 1 second. He sniped my Trebs with his own Springolds. Like 1 second. And I was like,
I was watching that game. I was so mad. I was so mad. Behalf.
I was so mad because
why did you not just build walls and buildings around your house of wisdom so he could not drop the red palace on it?
Well, I didn't think about it. Okay, I was stressed.
Literally how to stop any TC drop.
It's a
All
lot
everyone
going
was
on.
telling me was I should
Askallad.
have. Last time, the first game, everyone was like in my chat was going, you should have just built Trebs. And I was like, oh, maybe I should have. That would have won the game. And then I did it. And the frustrating thing is it was literally just a lack of micro. I mean, the macro kind of lost. I could have built stuff. You're right. But in that instance, the thing that really killed me was the lack of micro right in that 1-2 second window. Like, oh gosh, I'm still kicking myself at it because I had like 5 Sprinkles. I was like macroing. I was doing the right thing to stop this. I had Trebs coming out. Sprinkles ready to go to defend. I had units right around my Trebs to keep him safe. And he sniped him at the perfect freaking moment. Oh, it was
25 seconds before that, you said, I really need to pay attention to these Sprinkles.
I thought I was doing a good job of that. But
I was seeing the attack pings from the top side and I thought to myself, well, that's game.
It was like 1 second. It was not like I looked away very long. I had been watching it like a hawk, but you can't just, here's the problem with this game is you can't just focus on one spot the entire time. You have to multitask some
it's
things.
a lot.
I had to look away for a moment and he just timed it perfectly. Yeah, I'm frustrated with myself because I was like the one moment I look away, bop, there it goes. And I was trying so hard. So this game does have some micro elements to it. So I don't feel like you can just measure the difficulty of a Civ purely based on the economy because how you use the military and how you have to play things makes a big difference too. So
I agree.
But I think that they did do that. So
they say micro wins battles, macro wins the game.
They
so
honestly
really
should have like rating. They should have like Civ ratings, kind of like they did for the players that were super arbitrary for the EGCG.
yeah, they should go on to AOE 4 World and take
yeah.
stats. And
They should say like, okay, how micro intensive is a Civ? How macro intensive is it? How aggressive? How easy? Whatever it's like timings. Like they should like have like stats like how. Like they should have like kind of a general feel like where its general spikes in power is.
is this one
Judge?
cheating?
Is this one cheating?
Cheating level. No, but I mean, can you really like judge a Civ based off micro though? Because micro is individual.
I mean, macro is the primary part. But for like French though, if you're doing a French feudal game, the micro is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
When those knights are expensive as heck, and you look away and you get them taken down by a spear mass. I mean, that's big.
Even Joan is a good example of that too. So
yeah. Joan of Arc is a big micro.
It just
component.
depends on, as the game expands, there will be different definitions of what difficulty is and stuff. But I think overall they were using initially macro.
This is a good post. This is a good conversation that can spark up. Now these are good. Now that's a good Reddit post.
There we go. Good Reddit post. Yes,
that's a good Reddit post. That sparks conversation.
70
discussion.
comments too, so it's people were definitely talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see that right there sparks. No,
I like this. I think the difficulty. The top comment is from Best Stress 3040. 4 days ago, they said, I think the difficulty of the Civs changes drastically based on the level of game being played. In Gold League, French requires at least 12 IQ and partial use of one hand. Literally rally knights in his base, and they will kill a bunch of vills before they die to TC. Eventually, you just win. In Conqueror, French feels somewhat difficult. You are committing a ton of micro skirmishes, and you have to stay active and multitask with knights nonstop. Losing even a couple of knights in the first 10 minutes can render your game unwinnable. So yeah, I think that's exactly kind of what I was trying to say. I mean, that's a general statement. Obviously, that's not entirely true, but I think it's a general kind of thing where like some Civs are better and easier in different levels. I think that is a concern. There's a thought to be had there.
I agree. Yeah, most definitely relevant some conversation.
All right, shall we go to the next one?
Yes.
Yeah.
I like this one. This is another good discussion. I kind of already talked a bit about it. We kind of had to post a little bit about this, but this is by MC Davis 6950 4 days ago. Says, how does everyone use their unit control groups? Something I have always been a bit clumsy with is incorrectly using my control groups. By default, I bind my cav to 1, my melee infantry to 2, and ranged infantry to 3, special units to 4, harsh archers, Mengadai, etc. My issue is that this is awkward based on keyboard layout to press the A button prior to attacking whilst keeping your hand on the correct keys. I often have to look down to reset my hand on the keys, and if I don't, I'll start pressing Q or shift myself over and start selecting the wrong unit groups, etc. My newest attempt to streamline this is to shift my control groups to start on 3, since my pinky is the correct spot on to press the A button in that configuration. However, I still blunder the keys all the time. Another side note here, I would love if the attack move could be bound to a specific key without disturbing the rest of your grid key commands. I had it set for the side mouse button, and then building things researching became a bit awkward, and I had to put it back the way it was. How does everyone else here operate? This is a great question, I think.
This is actually really good. Yeah. Well, like, would you say
it's personal preference, obviously, but
well, I think, would you say just the best way to like kind of say this is like whatever you do, use make sure it's consistent? across the board.
Yes.
I think that's
that's the best.
That's probably the best thing, because like that's kind of where I used to jack up. I like how you say you put his cav in 1, melee in 2, and range in 3. Like if you like kind of like keep it that way, I think you're in a good spot. But once you start switching it up, like putting your range in 2 and melee in 3, and then you start getting too used to it and you switch it up, like, you know, basically like even if, let's say for example, like let's say you make an archery range and that's the only unit you're making right now, range units, keep those units in 3. Like even if that's the only thing you have on the map. Like maybe not, because what I used to do was make me misclick all the time and make me lose fights all the time. Whatever unit I would produce first, I would put it automatically in 1. So it don't matter if it was range, melee, or cavalry. I would put it in 1 because the first one I'm putting out. Whatever I put in next, whether it's melee or ranged or whatever cavalry, I'll put that in 2. So eventually it would start messing me up because I'd be used to putting, like, say I was playing French for a long time and I was always used to making cavalry first. And I put them in 1. And then I go to play English, and now I'm more of a range unit basis. And now I'm putting that unit in 1. So like, and it got to a point where my brain started like getting used to the number placement, but my strategy wasn't playing that consistently. So I would start putting range units in 1, then cavalry in 1 based on what I was playing. And then it just jacked up. So basically what I'm trying to say is I believe the best way, because I don't think anyone else here can really answer definitively how you should do it, because like Caleb said, it's personal preference. But just whatever you're doing, make sure you get used to doing that on a consistent basis. Whatever your controls are, keep them that way. Because I think once you start kind of switching back and forth a lot, you know, get used to the controls you're using, you're never going to like really get like that muscle memory because you're so used to switching up, which is my biggest problem in the game. One of them, I switch up my settings so much that it is hindering my progression, because I allow whatever this person does, I'm like, oh, that may be smarter, I'm gonna do it that way. Whatever this person does, oh, that actually is smart, I'm gonna switch it up to that way. Never finding like exactly what I should do that's best for me. For like, you know, right. I'm back on what do you call it, panoramic mode. I tried that out because I've been hearing until I'm going back and forth with that now. My fault. What do you think?
Panoramic mode is chief. It might be the best way. So I kind of did something similar. So I've thought about this a lot because I've been working on my key bindings in particular. That's one thing I've actually been trying to work on is control groups, and I flip flop a lot, but I have kind of a thing. So I like the idea of doing. So right off the bat, I'll just say my 1 key automatically is my scout to begin the game. That's been habit. I'm going to leave that as habit. I like it the way it is. 1 is my number 1 scout. Then obviously shift is my town center. And 0 I mentioned was my docks if I ever have docks. I like having ranged at 2, cavalry at 1, infantry at 3. So my scout counts as cavalry. So I that's kind of how I do it. However, if I'm playing like French and I've got multiple groups of knights, or if I just have multiple groups I want to use, sometimes I don't use a composition that has all 3 things. Maybe I'm just doing spears and 2 groups of knights. I'll have 1 and 2 be 2 groups of knights and 3 be my spears still. So I actually am a little more fluid with it. So usually I think I have like different, if I'm splitting my military, I'll use, because it's like almost like 2 different ways of doing it, right? You can either do it by type or do it by group of unit, like a group of where they're at in the map and what they're doing. So sometimes I'll vacillate back and forth. I know they say that it's good to keep it consistent, but I've kind of done both and I've had some moderate success with that. I don't know.
I think, yeah, it's 100% preference. That just goes for any hotkeys on any game. So we can go on about, I do this and I do that, and I have all of my upgrades on ZXCVB and whatever. But
I smash my face on the keyboard and then it types out, haha. GG.
Yeah, and you can do that if that works for you.
On that
it's just
right now.
There are technically optimal ways for moving your fingers across the keyboard and stuff, but if you're in the habit of doing something because you played a different game or you played piano and you can use both hands on the keyboard and no mouse, whatever it is,
that'd be really impressive.
Do whatever's good for you. Don't don't look up a guide on which hotkeys to set because that'll just screw you up really hard. Find what flows for you and how your brain works.
I'm very happy you said that, Caleb, because I tried doing that with Beastie Cuties in the way he does his, and I was like, what?
Yeah, and that's the thing. You have to find what works for you, and that's why there's like you like watch COD tournaments where the players are like eyeballs are touching the screen. You're like, what are you doing? But it works. That's how they do it. They bring their own keyboards and their own mouses with their own macros as long as they're tournament approved, and they each have the craziest setups you've ever seen. And
yeah, I know a lot of guys will say like, oh, TC is always on 4. Like everyone should do that. And that's like, well, I use spacebar and I've modified my settings. So spacebar really is a good jam for me.
I have 5. That's so different.
That's so crazy. Man, spacebar is insane to me.
Mine's on Q.
Whoa, you got the villager? You got the TC instead?
Neat. Yeah,
I just press QQ and I build a villager.
Well, spacebar. I use space to
that
click
is
my
crazy.
So I changed my thing up. I think I mentioned already, but spacebar is like my town center. Shift space to go and view my town center, and then I have control space now. I used to have shift space to select all TCs, but now it's control space to select all TCs, so I can queue multiple at once. But yeah,
dude, if I touch your keyboard, my ELO will be at 300. That is crazy. How? That is crazy. The spacebar TC, that I admire that.
I just can't miss it. My thumb is always sitting on it, so it's like perfect.
My spacebar is always idle villager. That's crazy.
I have that. I have A. So if I off click my military, I off click everything off. I just hit A, and it just sends me right back.
I don't have a whole episode explaining our controls, and
everyone does something different. I think
that's crazy. That's what's up, though.
My big takeaway is think about what you want to work for you. Find first of all, you got to find something. You have to play with the keys. If you don't play with the key bindings at all, you're putting yourself up for bad habits. Find something that works for you. Go into those. Look at it. Go into a custom game and just practice it for a little bit. And get used to it. Go into some quick matches. Get used to it, and then take that to ranked. Like it will improve your game. Definitely play with the keys.
Yeah, most definitely. I agree. Said that good.
And on that topic,
what's our next one? Oh, ignore our next meme. This one, I thought this was pretty funny. This is from the Ginger Ninja, who actually, I want to shout out this player. I've played them and I won. Just gonna throw that out there. Sorry, Ginger Ninja. Yeah, it was actually a really fun game.
I was
playing one. This guy. I'm gonna shout out Ginger Ninja though, because I played him. It was a great fun game, and I really appreciate this post because I was using one of these quote unquote easy civs, I guess, but it's a meme that says "ignore the Malders," and it's got like like the guy with the blonde guy with the beard, where he's all like just super chadly, and it's got the guy who's like got the glasses and like the scraggly whiskers on his face, and he's just crying like, "Oh, you can't do that." Yeah, I don't know what this meme is called, but the guy crying is all like, "That's the Civ is easy, noob," and it's like the Chad guy, just like me enjoying the game because I'm not a pro and play for fun. It's like, thank you, Ginger Ninja, love that. That's super funny. If you're not only play this game if you're actually enjoying it. Like, don't be like, I just don't like the idea. Here I am on my soapbox again, dude. I could sell so much soap. Like, just enjoy the game, guys. Like, stop listening to all these negative Nancys who want to just be like, oh, like this strat is super easy. You could never beat me with a real Civ. It's like, nope. A loss is a loss. A win is a win. Like, all is fair in love and war. Just saying.
The genuine best time I had in this game playing was when I was actually playing. Okay, not when I was cheating. Sorry, I'm not Soccerton, obviously. But when I was actually playing like stuff like, I'm just gonna go Chamber of Commerce and go multi TC and make an Imperial Rush and tower your everything.
Well, like, remember the question I posed to you a minute ago, like Soccerton? I told you like when my lady was watching me play the game and she asked me like, is this game fun? Like, that's actually a question. Like, I mean, like, sometimes I think people play this game different ways. Like, some people really are them. They dive in. They're competitive. They play ranked and like that. So, like, some people, like, you can make the statement like, well, me just joining and playing the game for fun. But, I mean, I don't agree with, like, you shouldn't be typing anybody, you're a noob and boom, boom. Of course, none of that. But
it's
some people really are.
We came to the conclusion that we play the game because it's fulfilling. It's satisfying to win.
Most definitely.
I would say it is fun. Sometimes you're not always having fun, though. And sometimes you need to kind of take a moment and maybe do something. I like what Askallad said about doing something like really silly off meta. That can make the game really fun again if you go into a quick match and just want to just goof around.
My extra sheet,
personal expectations.
My extra sheet really is kind of highlighting that, like, how I've been having the most fun doing what I've been doing lately. It really is. Like it really is multiple ways to play this game. It's not just ranked, but I'll come to that when we cross that bridge.
All right, that leaves us with our last Reddit post, and this is cursed. I'm just gonna say this is cursed. Ghost Operative 6 days ago posted this thing. It's got 8 updates right now. And it says, I wish you could set your camera to 45 degrees by default. So normally, obviously we're looking at everything at an angle. He wants it, the mini map, to be sitting at the square.
God, I'm looking at this picture. It breaks my brain.
It is. Yeah, imagine hitting the bracket key twice and just angling yourself 90 degrees on your map.
Oh my God. This is horrible.
It's horrible.
It's like this picture.
How do I describe, how do I like equate this to something? It's like when you see something that's like not normal. Like
it's like the what's the or something, the uncanny valley. It's like you're just like this is not quite right.
Bear that's been shaved, like a shaved bear, and it's just got a bunch of like sagging skin all over it, and it just looks freaky. That's what this is. It's like looking at a naked mole rat. It just doesn't look right.
Guys, listen. I'm telling you right now.
Enro stairs or something. This is not right.
It's so crazy seeing this. I'm prompting to you guys right now, but I'm telling you, this guy has a point. Like
what? I think in theory.
No, listen. Okay, the way he's got it set up, I don't agree with this. But when I say it has changed up my gameplay revolutionary, putting no matter what, like, I mean, I can't go based off the actual compass, but putting my TC towards the bottom of the map. Like, so wherever I'm attacking, the enemy is always above me.
So you're doing like the Ender's Game, like the opponent. The enemy is always down, essentially. But
when I say literally, when I say it has made my raids, my map, like it literally, like I 100% agree.
You literally change the angle of your map to put your TC at the bottom every single game.
If you look at, so basically this is the order
I will no longer be on this podcast. Thank you guys for having me on
here. Listen, let me try to.
That's why you don't stream anymore, Sir Neville. Everyone would just throw up looking at it.
Oh no! Oh, probably. You almost definitely throw up. You almost definitely throw up. You almost throw up watching my gameplay now. But listen, boys, I've been trying to revamp. I haven't actually trying to go in depth and figure out, like, actually study why I've been losing so much. I promise you, this is gonna sound crazy.
And considered it's not actually the camera angle.
No, listen. No, you're right. Listen, you're probably right. I need any scapegoat to see why I've been losing before.
Simpsons meme, like, the children. Maybe the children are right. Maybe I'm out of touch. No, it's the children who are wrong. Like,
no, but listen. I'm telling you, it does take some getting used to. It is very weird. But like when I say, like, at least the way my brain works, like, when you orient your camera to where your TC is always at the bottom of the map and your enemy is always above, somehow it helps me with rallying my units. Because I used to have a problem with when I, like, say for example, the way this guy had it rotated, this looks insane. This is cracked. I don't know what he's doing here. But when I say though, like when I put it towards the southern, so if you just rotate this a little bit, maybe like, a little bit to the right, where like maybe the north is where traditionally the east would be on the map here. I know when people are listening can't see it, but pretty much make it to where his base is at the bottom.
The map, like 180, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. So when you do that, it helps me with rallying my troops. Because I used to always say, when people make a TC, make my phone, not a TC, but make a keep in the center of the map, I always had a problem with rallying my troops through that keep and getting them like partially damaged or killed on the way. But when I angled it differently, I would just, it was weird. It made some way my brain works, but I will rally them like upwards, like around that keep, and it would just make it to where I had better unit placement. I have a better orientation of the map. It's better for 1v1 because when you start getting into like free for alls and 3v3s, the map's bigger and different spawns. But for 1v1, when you, it's hard. It takes getting used to. Believe me. Because when I first started doing it, I did.
Take I think I've ever heard.
I'm
getting heat stroke from this one, Sir Neville's.
You're going to pass out a couple times. You're going to vomit. But once you get past all of that, you are at another level. You play
this is like one of those like cleanses people do where they only eat like grass juice for a week.
I'm telling you, listen.
After I
it's like a carnivore diet. It's like a carnivore diet.
This is one of those guys. He's one of those guys that bought too many pillows and he has like 40 in his garage. And he's really trying to get you to buy a bunch of pillows because he has too darn many.
Like, I think what this guy's problem is, I don't think it's his, like, I mean, look at this guy's macro. This guy's floating so much food. Like, so, like, I think that's not, I don't think that's his problem. camera. But the point I'm trying to make is that I'm telling you, it does. Like, one day I'm going to literally, like, I will stream. I'm gonna find time. I'm going to stream it and just show you what I mean. It is weird. It is weird. But it's a method to my madness. And it might just be the way my brain works because I'm a little special. But like, it has actually, I have had and don't even start on raids. If they start raiding, boys, it is so much easier to move your economy when they're raiding and your base is at the bottom of the map.
So I want to talk about the OP for this post here. He says it's so much easier to build things when the grid is straight on the camera. It also makes better use of your screen space. You don't have to scroll around as much to see your base. Your monitor is square shaped, so it's easier when the grid is shaped in a diamond shape.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
I honestly have never cared too much about how nice and neat my base is lined up. I am like the worst use of real estate in this game. I just put stuff down everywhere. My base is not SimCity. Also, I will say one thing. I will say is the bracket keys.
I dare you to play Ottomans.
Yeah, every now and then I do, and I have to really start getting. Or if I play French, I have to kind of get ready for that keep. I do have a hard time with that, genuinely. Even when I play my HRE, my Askallad always has a house in it, like almost always. I just can't avoid it. I'm really bad at it. It's something I have to always tell myself. But I will use the bracket keys every now and then to change my angle if I'm trying to like grab like a certain like deer or trying to grab a certain like wood line or something. Every now and then I'll hit the brackets to kind of quickly rotate my screen and then go back. So I don't like hate that you can do that. Like, I think that's
board that is killing your villagers under your TC, so you can't click from your current angle.
Yeah, like stuff like that. I'll definitely every now and then, like every like 3 games, I think I use that feature where I'll hit the brackets because you can hit bracket like and it'll spin you a little bit, and you can hit, and it's just instead of having to hold Alt and drag, you can just hit the brackets, and it's nice, crisp, like 45-degree angles, and it's nice. But yeah, this is cursor levels. This one's too hot to handle, I think.
Oh nah, boys! Listen.
Good on you, but
one day, listen. I'm telling you, play French Pass, and you angle that camera that way, the map becomes somewhat digestible.
I hate you because I think
I'm
that's
missing
actually
dinner
a valid
for this
point.
Conversation.
What'd you say?
I said I'm missing dinner for this conversation. I am not happy.
I'm sorry.
All right, moving on. So that was like that's actually not the worst. That's not the worst point. French Pass is at least a somewhat almost valid explanation for that. But other than that, I just that's gross. We're gonna take a very very quick break, and then we'll be back with our extra Chiefs. Hey, Soccerton here. Just got a couple of announcements for you guys listening right now. I'm going to try and keep this brief. I do a really bad job of doing that, but here we go. First of all, if you haven't already done a tournament through Rising Empires, either the War Chief Club, if you're like really, really good at the game, I mean like really, really good, like professional level, you should do that if you haven't. Or if you are more like myself, decent at the game, good at the game, I shall say, but perhaps not professional at the game, we've got Low Elo Legends that the Rising Empires also hosts every Saturday. Definitely check it out. It's free. They've got brackets for like Diamond guys. They got brackets for us in Platinum, and they got a bracket for everyone in Gold and lower as well. I mean, they've got quite a range, and you'd be surprised how competitive people can be, even across ranks and stuff. Really fun. You should definitely try it. If you haven't at least done that once, I highly recommend it. And if you've done it a couple times and you're just thinking like, oh, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, here's your little call out saying, hey, just go sign up, do it. I did it again recently, had a blast. I was in the middle bracket this time of Low Legends, and I went 2-2. And both my losses, I really felt like were on my own fault. I definitely could have played better, did some silly mistakes. My 2 wins though were like really good wins. So it feels good. I highly recommend you guys do it. You usually play 4 games in a round robin, like a Swiss round robin, and then it goes on to the seeding into like a single elimination bracket from there in the playoffs, essentially. Definitely check it out. Really fun. They also have a Discord, so you should check out their Discord, Rising Empires. Super great. We have links in the description of this episode to all those to those Discords, so check them out. Also on Discords, the Gria Bara, which was created by our very own Sir Neville's, has grown exponentially over time. It's doing quite good. If you haven't checked that out, that's a great place to go. You can now look them up just by name, the Gria Bara. Just like the landmark that's in the game for the Malians, you check them out. People are always playing, always on there. It's a great place to hang out, talk about build orders, find people to play with. Definitely recommend. Now to the juicy news here. Not Juicy's news, but just juicy news. our next episode, I might have already mentioned this episode, and as I think I'll mention after this little snippet in the main episode as well, we're doing a live episode on the 17th. Mark your calendars. Sunday, December 17th. This year, 2023, we will be doing a live episode starting at, I believe, around. I think it'll probably start officially at like 2. We usually get ready to go at like 1:45 ish, but realistically, we'll start at probably 2 Pacific time. So 2 p.m. Pacific time. I don't know what that is for everyone else in the world. Let me. You know what? I'll do you guys a solid. I'm going to look it up right now. Okay, here it is. So for Astoria on that date, it'll be 2 p.m. for us. If you happen to live in Berlin, Germany, that is 9 hours ahead. That'll be 11 p.m. We'll be going live. If you're in the UK, like let's say London or anywhere else in the UK, I guess I think it's all at the same time zone. That'll be 10 p.m. If you're in Melbourne, Australia, you'll be on the other end of the world, 19 hours ahead technically, but it's kind of weird. You'll be in Tuesday by then, or not Tuesday. You'll be in a Monday by then, but it'll be Monday. 9 a.m. Wow, that's kind of a tough time. You'll probably be at work, but that's how it is. So again, here in Astoria, 2 p.m. If you're on the East Coast of the United States, that'll be I think 5 p.m. That's happening this Sunday for my time, Monday for the Australian guys again. Mark your calendars. That's coming up. So we'll be going live. If you want to give us live questions, live feedback, I think it'll be on my personal Twitch stream. So twitch.tv/Soccerton. I think I'll do it on mine. Beal did it for the last live event. I think our plan was kind of rotate through each of the hosts and who runs on their Twitch. But it'll be on my account. Links to that, of course, are always in the podcast descriptions. If you haven't checked those out already and followed, you can find me there. I'll be going live. I'll be posting that as well. The link to that in the Gria Bara and probably Rising Empires as well. So if you're in those communities, you'll be able to find it there when we go live. And yeah, so look out for that. We're really excited. We're going to make it kind of a holiday themed thing. I think Askallad will come back for that as well. We're going to do some tier lists. It'll be great. It'll be a great time. We hope to see you guys there. Bring your questions. Bring some fun things to chat about. We'll definitely be trying to interact with chat as we go. And yeah, hopefully we'll have for anyone who is listening or maybe wants to watch that after the fact, we will try and make that a YouTube video after the fact as well. I think that's all I've got right now. Big shout out again to my wife for editing this episode in particular. We just had a lot of stuff come up this week, today in particular, as I'm recording this on Monday. So she did the editing for this episode, thank goodness, and I'm really grateful for that because we just got a lot going on and life gets busy. But we're really glad to have you guys listening to the podcast. Thanks to all of our Patreon subscribers. If you want, I still have some coasters and stickers I'm happy to mail out. I just need you guys to sign up for the Patreon, and then I'll message you about, hey, give me your address and I'll send the stuff. So definitely a big thanks to all those who have already done so and who support us via Patreon. That is helping us fund the show. So we really appreciate it. Besides that, I'll send it guys back on to the main episode. This is another long one, so enjoy the extra sheeps. And we are back. Time for some extra sheeps, the part of the show where we each give one final thought, snippet, etc., our extra sheep, if you will, about the game. Mine, I'll start us right off so everyone else can think of theirs in case they've not figured that out yet. Mine is that I think I mentioned this already. I think Sir Neville's talked about it, but Samurai Bannermen auras don't stack. So you can't stack when you're playing Japanese. The Bannerman gives you plus 15% damage increase, which is massive. First of all, always make Bannerman. Always do that. Whatever your primary thing is, do it. It's amazing how much of a boost that gives you. Like seriously, never take a fight without a Bannerman if you can avoid it as Japanese. Like that 15% boost is like plus 3 damage for knights essentially. On top of your other bonuses, that's massive. My other part of the extra sheep that I really want to get to though is that you can't Wololo a Bannerman. Fun fact.
I do not know that.
You cannot Wololo them. I don't think you can Wololo Joan of Arc either.
Does it just do nothing, or does it like kill them?
It just for the Bannerman, it does nothing. It doesn't do anything. I saw a fun clip on Reddit where they Wololoed like 20 samurai, and then they all turned on their Bannerman and killed him. He couldn't forget what side he was on because he had a flag, So
that's funny.
But yeah, it's funny. You can't Wololo Bannerman. You also, in case anyone doesn't know this, I knew this. This is not for me particularly, but I've known this for a bit. But you also cannot Wololo Siege. In case anyone out there was thinking about doing that, That might have been an extra sheet from episodes past, but I'll just reiterate it since it's kind of applicable here. So Wololos are somewhat limited, you know. Also, if you have population space capped out and you Wololo something, it just dies. So,
Yes.
Which I think most people know, but just in case anyone's new and doesn't know that, there you go.
Of course.
Beal is not here. His extra sheep will be, everyone should tune in next episode on the 17th for our live episode. Thank you, Beal, for that wonderful extra sheep.
Thanks, Bill.
I think actually before this, I usually do my little one-on-one with the viewers where I just kind of do our announcements and shout outs and say nice things about Caleb, Sir Neville's, Askallad, and Beal. I also do announcements, and I think I'll probably have just mentioned that, but it's worth mentioning again that we'll be going live. Anyways, Sir Neville's, do you want to do your extra sheep?
Well, I already spoiled it, boys. Rotate your camera. I'm just playing now. That's not my extra sheet. Even though, listen, don't knock it till you try it. Listen, I'm telling you, don't knock it till you try it, boys. But listen, like, kind of highlight, what we said about, what reason people play the game for, it's fun and all that. I have been the weirdest thing ever, but I've been playing ranked. Still been getting my 1v1 ranked in on my Smurf account. I forgot the name of my Smurf account. I'm going to drop that. I think it's like it's something goofy. I think it's like Santa's Little Helper or something. I don't know. It's something stupid. I think that is my Smurf friend. I think it's Santa's Little Helper. We gotta get in the right season. Yes. Yeah. Oh, my fault. My current Smurf is Santa's Widow Elf. Santa's Widow Elf. Anyway. Yep, that's my. So if you want to check my 1v1 accolades, that's what you look at. It's Santa's Widow Elf. But on my main account, Sir Neville's, I have actually been playing a lot of team games, but even 1v1 because I've been learning a lot of civs. And maybe it's a little bit more populated because of the uptick in player base. But Quick Match still exists.
Dude, Quick Match is so good. I love Quick Match.
Yeah, and like Quick Match really actually is more of the fun aspect of the game, I would assume. I would probably iterate it because Quick Match has a way larger player pool. I mean, not player pool, excuse me, large map pool. So you kind of start seeing maps that you don't usually occasionally see. So it allows you to implement more strategies. Obviously with Quick Match, there really is no reason for anxiety because it doesn't matter. You're just getting XP for playing. And it's no one's looking at your Quick Match stats. You really I think really Quick Match is kind of instead of making usually a Smurf count, which I can't knock it because I use one too because it just, I put so much time into them, I'll just keep using it. But, you can just go on Quick Match and practice civilizations. And it's a little hard using Quick Match for practicing for rank because the map pool is different. But it does make the game becomes a little bit more laid back and not as stiff and tight-knit and as upsetting when you're playing Quick Match because it's almost like a spot where everyone's kind of trying new things out and it becomes more of a relaxing I've been playing a lot of Quick Match. I'm playing Byzantines, Japan. I pretty much only played I've hit my Abbassid every now and then, but I pretty much have only played new civilizations this season just to really learn them. I've been trying out new builds, trying to do my own little custom builds, reading tech trees, losing a decent amount because some things I think about is utterly just make zero sense. But I've tried 2TC, Order the Dragon. I guess maybe especially because of season 6 of the new civilizations, it has become more relevant, I feel, to try these new civs out with practicing. And you're not seeing as many, let's say you're not seeing as many as the really strong civs in Quick Match. Because I think people really are trying to figure out, you see a lot. I play ranked and I see one Byzantine player for the longest, but I play Quick Match. I see Byzantines all the time because people really are giving them a shot and trying out new things. And the map pool Quick Match is also very cool because it's got the whole map, even though some maps are a little correct.
You get 15 downvotes too, so it's not like
exactly. Yes, also too with the update you get 15 downvotes. So there's still a lot of maps. You don't have to worry about playing. What's the one forest map that's crazy? That was super chokeholdy. Black Forest. Yeah, you can most definitely downvote that. Some of the maps are absolutely just why is it here?
I don't know. Haywire's pretty fun though. Haywire's pretty fun.
Haywire, yeah. Like maps like Haywire. That's not a ranked in. Some maps have you played. What's the one? The Turtle Hill.
That's a big doubt.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that map. Yeah, don't get done with that one.
If you're listening to this podcast, odds are that map is just not for you. Like
it is
it's something else.
It's actually kind of a trolly map. I played a team game and we just stonewalled in. I did something that is utterly unacceptable. But I did feudal age stonewalling my enemy just to be funny. We lost that game, which we deserved. We deserved to do that. We deserve to lose that game. But like the map can't be taken seriously. It's a joke of a map. So we can't play it seriously.
It's the best map in the
I
have 100% win rate on that map against 10 for Tim. We played once and I beat him. And
I'll talk to you guys later.
But I gotta go.
All right. Well, Askallad, since you've got such great opinions, what is your extra sheep?
Okay, my opinions matter. Okay.
We didn't say that. Calm down, buddy.
I said you had interesting ones.
Because at the start of this podcast, I was actually just hanging out because there were people I liked in this channel. And then suddenly they said, yeah, sure, let's stay around for the podcast.
Not all of us said that.
Not all of them said that, but I didn't say that I liked all of the people that were there. Anyway, let's make this a extra sheep in 3 parts. So let's go with the little shout out first, the little get better community, please. I had a lot of fun recently just queuing solo into team games, into ranked team games. Yes, that is a thing that you can do. It's not always fun, but I had a lot of fun because I was playing Japanese, and it's just fun to play Mars Zerglings. But that was a genuinely pleasant experience for the most part, because I actually had teammates that didn't quit. It was mostly fair-ish matchups. And let's go for the downside of all of that. I also had a lot of games where I queued into the double stack. Some of you might have encountered it if you ever played into 3s or 4s. There's going to be this stack of Conqueror 3s that have all of their devil's name in front of their actual gamer name. And then I just sit there and I think to myself, the dodge is going to happen at the 4-second mark. And usually I am right.
Now, what do you mean by that? The dodge is going to happen at the 4-second mark.
That means that every single time people queue into a team that they think they cannot beat, they will dodge that team. Dodging is
the dodge. Okay. Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah, you're right about that. Yeah.
And now let me quickly shout out why it is super dumb to dodge. Because these people, they get dodged by everyone. There is not a single team out there that is willing to play them, because for some reason the other Conqueror 3s, they don't want to play them because they might lose. So the way you actually...
By dodging, you just guarantee that, don't you?
Yeah, you just guarantee that. The thing is, if you dodge, then you just are going to queue into that same team 25 times, and you're wasting everyone's time. Just bite the bullet, play the game, maybe you win.
Make them bleed like normal men do.
Yeah, they can actually bleed.
They put their pants on the same way we do. I have
killed a lot of Jigglypuff villagers in my time, I'll tell you that. We still lost, but it was fun.
Isn't like there's very low elo laws if you're playing a team way stronger than you?
Oh yeah, yeah. I can understand people who say, "Well, of course, I'm not gonna play this because I have time for 3 games a week, and I'm going to queue into a high Conqueror team. I'm plat. What am I going to do?" But it doesn't solve anything if you dodge. It does not solve anything. It just makes it a problem for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the rant. Let's go for the educational part. Extra sheep educational part. If you play Byzantines, if you're one of those good people who doesn't play cheater civs, shout out to you guys. And you enjoy Hippodrome. There's actually a fun thing that you can do. Just make 2 horsemen. Get the extra tech, which is called... Oh my god, what's the name? Expilatores, which increases your damage versus villagers by +2.
Oh.
And then if you hit the triumph, you're going to 2-shot villagers with those horsemen.
Man,
it's so fun.
Don't tell people about that.
Don't give this information.
All the help they can get.
that out there.
One
That is-
week
that
we're
is
going to
an
have a
actual
bunch of
thing.
other
Just
people
make
saying
two
that
horses.
Byzantines is a broken, cheating Civ here because of Triumph and Horseman.
I genuinely, I thought Triumph,
for those Reddit
when I
posts.
tried them in early access, I thought Triumph would make them a broken, cheating Civ. Turns out it's not the case, but Triumph is very good.
Triumph is
really
very good
Triumph
and
is
very difficult
nice.
to deal with when used well. I think the ceiling for Byzantines is probably pretty high. I'm like very nervous for when Byzantines gets fully figured out and someone just finally gets it to start working, or when everything else gets nerfed, as it probably will be because everyone's complained about it loud enough that it's just going to happen. When the nerfs
Byzantine
coming
needs to
in,
stabilize until like the 20-minute mark, and then they're super good.
yeah. They
Before
get
that,
scary
they're
in
kind
Castle.
of prey.
All right. My extra cheap. I didn't really have one, but I came up with one after hearing all this kind of in context with our previous conversation. As you can tell, there are a variety of ways to set up your game, play your game. You can turn your map upside down. You can play with your toes, whatever it is Askallad and Sir Neville's do. Utter psychopathy, I don't understand. But, you know, it shows that... It shows that everybody has a way that they can play that's fun, and you want to find the natural way to play for you. There are certain things, so like, you know, if you're pressing the home button to build a villager every time by taking your hand off the mouse, maybe suboptimal. But short from some pretty drastic turnaways, there are ways to make the game feel better for you, and especially if you're not playing for competitive, so you're playing for fun and just trying to have some good times. You want to be comfortable, and you want to set your key bindings and break those bad habits early to kind of set yourself up for success, to then kind of grow into your good habits, and you'll see growth over long-term periods of time.
Nice.
Very nice. Very nice.
Well, guys, this has been quite the episode. I don't usually have. I did
It's a roller
smart thing,
coaster.
like I said. I did a smart thing by cutting our audio into files into 2 this time. So we're going on for an hour since.
So you can delete the entire second half of this madness.
Can I have my redemption arc, or are you just gonna cut it in earlier where I blanked out on what I wanted to say?
Oh yeah,
did
you remember it? You remembered it? Wow,
I remembered
we
it.
Did it? Let's do it. Let's hear it.
We were talking about the production quality and how to make it more approachable, right? AOE esports, rather. And then we were talking about player stats in other games, and we actually talked about that in the RE admin Discord. Because we wanted to make low elo legends player stats. There was like a big thing that we thought, well, that would make it more fun for people to join our tournaments when they actually had like a website, a simple one where they could just look up how they were doing.
Like tournament
Maybe those
MMR
tournaments.
almost. Like having like individual
pretty much
tournament
all.
like MMR.
That sounds so cool. That'd be so cool to have like a little like.
Yeah.
I was thinking with the EGC TV, I was looking at their little stat things. It did look cool, and it looked like almost like a baseball card. Is kind of what I thought of it. Like, I had like the little picture.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that'd be so. I mean, that's a lot more work than anything. But they had like their pictures with like the name, like their country, like their like stats. And I thought that was kind of cool to see. That is kind of fun to see.
So it's funny, Askallad, is that I'm going to have to develop that for my job that I'm really hoping pans out.
Hey, do you want to like practice on StarGG for Rising Empires tournaments so you can have it?
As soon as I don't want to do anything for the job until I've more or less confirmed that it's actually going to happen. Like it's basically confirmed,
Fair
but
enough.
until I get like a thing, I don't want to do free work and then not have it do anything. But once it is, I think that would actually be super dope. It'd be giving me a way to kind of brainstorm some stuff. So I'd be willing to help with that.
There you go. Put your.
Because I literally have to do that to develop. Because we're going to have in-house tournaments, and then we're going to have the best players of the in-houses be our varsity for the fighting other colleges. So I'm going to have to develop some way to like track internal stats.
That's so cool. That's fun.
Yeah.
Was I born 20 years too early?
Yes, yes, we all were.
So anyway, yeah, I'm
too late, so I could not get into the pro streamer thing. Oh well.
I feel,
I'm pretty excited
I feel
to
that
work on
actually. I feel like, man, if I'd have done this like 5-6 years earlier and been on it, maybe I could have been been on it, but I'm already 26 now. I'm feeling like
you're
I'm
still a
getting up
young
there.
man. You're still a young man.
I know, but it's weird.
Get it
'cause,
in.
like, I feel like I'm already like past my like prime for this kind of thing. Like I really
Back's
feel
going
it.
out, and it's rough.
It's weird. It's
I
weird.
think Marino is like almost 30. You're good, dude. Breezy's
All right,
like
I got
33,
time.
dude. You're
I
good.
am 30. It feels bad.
You're
I
good.
would say,
Nah,
it doesn't
man.
feel like that far away, and I don't see myself improving that much in between then
With
and now.
modern medicine. With modern medicine, it takes you 20. You're 19, dude. You're good.
I don't feel like a 19-year-old, Snevels. I don't get enough sleep to be feeling like that. All right.
Sometimes you gotta just close your eyes
go
and
tell
leave all blind faith.
Go tell your doctor you got some real problems. You need some Adderall to
Exactly.
fix it.
Oh
It's
yeah,
fine.
I should Adderall, not that.
You want to go pro, dude? Go ahead. You know what to do.
I
You know what
refuse.
to do.
I'm better than that.
You
Snevels.
know
I'm
what to
better
do.
than
Go
that.
out and get you
My
a
mom
script.
said
Go out and
I'm
get you a
better than
script.
that.
Set ChatGPT up so it plays for you. Yeah, I can make that.
Jeez.
That'd be so funny. You actually do go out and get Adderall and you're like microing like every individual villager around your sheep. Like, all right, dude, you're good. You got it, man.
Microwing every single spear into those archers.
Every single spear. Exactly. They're
All right,
probably actually
this has
counterintuitive. Okay.
This has
we're
been
done.
the Extra Sheet, the unofficial Age of Empires 4 podcast. We're going to stay unofficial because of our very controversial nature. We had on the show
She's a
AoE
cheater,
Beal,
guys. She's a cheater.
Sir Neville's, Caleb Calamari, and Askallad have been your hosts, along with myself, Soccerton. Thanks, everyone. I hope you guys are enjoying the Christmas season. We're really excited for our big holiday special coming up here on the 17th. Until then, I hope you guys are enjoying the season and have a great rest of your day. We'll catch you guys later.
Absolutely.
Been a joy, boys. Been a joy.
That was fun. Thanks for listening, everyone. And yeah, have a great Christmas.
Till next time.